A young man with an interesting hair color, half black and the other side white, wearing a strict suit, was sitting near a tree. His name was Yin Wudao, and he was the sign of a very rich family. However, because of certain cravings, he was killed by Luan Wang. This villain's vocabulary did not have the word mercy, so he easily killed Yin Wudao. However, after the death of Yin Wudao was chosen by the great villain system, a beautiful girl with long gray hair stood over the guy and dressed in a red outfit. With Chinese terms in her smartphone, she saw that, agree to diagnose the system, the worst villain Wudao had just died. The girl assumed it was him. She turned on the data transmission of the divine rank villain system, causing Yin Wudao to revive again. Now he was ready to take revenge on Luan Wang. It was a legendary confrontation. The main antagonist, Luan Wang, and the protagonist, Yin Wudao. Reborn again, he'll have to be the best, he'll have to try and play dirty. Because now he had decided to become the most prominent antagonist and knew it was fun to play the role of a villain. And getting to the very beginning, as it all happened in Jiang City, it was beautiful and blooming and not quite calm. Yin Wudao was killed near the temple by lifting a guy with a different color hair by the neck. The red-haired guy asked the victim if Yin Wudao knew who his tormentor was. The young man replied that he was a worthless son-in-law of the Jiang family. The red-haired man told him to gouge out his eyes because he was the lord of the palace of the Dragon King Shao Chun. Hearing such words, Yin Wudao's eyes widened. He couldn't believe that the legendary Dragon King was pinning him to a tree. Shao Chun told the guy that he had gone to China, wanted a peaceful life, but Yin Wudao had tried to possess his woman, and he now deserved only death. Yin Wudao prayed and said that he was wrong and asked for mercy. Shao told him that there was no such word as mercy in the Dragon King's dictionary. After twisting the neck of the ruthless guy and taking his entourage, he walked away from the lifeless body. Yin Wudao regretted it and did not want to lose his precious life because of betrayal, because he would not accept it. Betrayals, and the guy's soul was still flying over his body looking for a chance to return to it. But suddenly a beautiful blonde in a fancy dress appeared out of nowhere and said that the system had discovered that a monstrous villain had just died. It must be this guy. She looked at the phone and clicked, and Wudao's soul began to be drawn back into his body. But then came darkness through which voices could be heard. When he opened his eyes, he and a few other people were in the office. He saw a woman in a strict suit with a high hairstyle yelling at Shao. She was displeased that he had come to the company without permission and chased him away. The woman was the mother-in-law of the Dragon King, and the red-haired man told her that Ruo Shui was his wife, and he would take care of things on his own. No need to bring in outsiders. The woman shouted that he wouldn't settle anything because the Jiang family has tens of billions of debt. The guy is just a trash who can only do laundry and cooking, and Ruo Shui is blind to choose him as her son-in-law. Watching the dialogue, Wu Dao began to come to his senses. He realized that he had already seen and heard this scene. Feeling his neck and head, the young man realized that he had been reborn. Looking at his watch, he realized that he had gone back half an hour before he was crushed to death by Dragon King Shao Chun. A sign appeared above him for a few seconds that said that the supreme system of the great villain had been activated, and the guy was given a system task to survive. Meanwhile, the system started a countdown and the sign disappeared. The young man was afraid that he would be killed again in half an hour, but he didn't want to die again. The pretty girl next to him asked him if he was all right. She put her hand on his forehead and said he had a fever and needed to get it down quickly. Then Shao saw this picture, and the girl who was carefully asking the guy about his condition was none other than the Dragon King's wife. Yin Wudao pushed her hand away and told her not to cling to him anymore. His mother-in-law immediately jumped up to the guy. Grabbing his hand, she asked him to calm down. Her mother-in-law told Shao that Mr. Yin is a very good man, and he helped Jiang solve the 10 billion investment problem. And to tell the truth, Ruo has already decided to remarry Mr. Yin. Shao angrily said that he organized those 10 billion investment, and the head of the dragon head is none other than him. Ruo couldn't stand those words and slapped him, telling him to shut up. After all, the guy thinks he can be related to Chairman Shao just because his last name is also Shao. Ruo told him that taking credit for someone else's accomplishments was very brazen, because it would only make her despise him even more. While Yin prayed that she would choose her words and keep her hands to herself. Ruo said that the Jiang family doesn't raise useless trash, and Shao needs to get out of the Jiang family. Yin realized that he was doomed, because everything was going exactly the same as before. Shao just listened to them and finally told them not to regret this decision. Yin saw the look on the guy's face, and asked him not to fix his mouth, because he would be finished. His mother-in-law told Yu not to do anything stupid, because if he hit him, he would only get his hands dirty. Ruo told him that she had no feelings for Xiao. She only had IMS and social status. Then suddenly, the three guys who were with the king at the moment they killed Yin appeared in the room. Xiao shouted that he wouldn't pretend anymore. All the cards were thrown on the table. He is the Dragon King. Rumor has it that the Dragon King's palace is the #1 foreign underground organization with great power and respected status. And the Dragon King has 3 precious workers under his command. Caitian said that if they dare to disobey the Dragon King, this $10 billion contract would be cancelled immediately. Baozong loudly told them that one phone call and the Yin and Jiang families would disappear from Jiang City. Yama just pulled out 2 guns and said that as soon as the Dragon King gave the order, he would kill everyone. After all, he was once again caught in a dead end where he would die. He thought, is the villain worthy of being just a springboard for the show-off protagonist? Xiao told the guy that he wouldn't accept his plea for mercy, but he could give him a dignified death. Yin told him in a vicious and confident voice that he just didn't plan on begging him for mercy. Xiao told him that although his Yin family is powerful in China, they are as insignificant as a speck of dust in front of his Dragon King palace. Yin was not confused and told him that just one call from him and they would be wiped out. Xiao told him that his words said quite arrogant. He would like to see who was capable of such a thing. 15 minutes later, a girl flew into the room and told her men to arrest everyone. It was the commander of the Red Shield Special Forces Task Force, Lu Man. Yin began to taunt them. After all, he was the one who called them. The Dragon King's group of fighters immediately laid down on the floor and told them to surrender their weapons. Lu told Xiao that he has been arrested. After all, he is the leader of an illegal foreign organization and has long been on the international red list with an arrest order. Those who admit their guilt will be shown generosity. Those who do not admit will be held accountable to the fullest extent. Xiao told Yin Wudao that he was not interested in martial virtue, for he had no integrity for such actions. Xiao told him to forgive him, for he was the villain here. Lu punched him and told him to shut up. Whoever he was, Dragon King or Azura, it wouldn't work on her. Lu told the guy that his reward for the whistleblowing would soon be in the account, $500,000 for one person, income tax-free. Yin Wudao put his hand on his chest and said with a smile, mutually beneficial cooperation, it is a great honor. Watching the system, the guy realized that by finishing off the proud son of heaven, he could appropriate his pride points for himself. Only he doesn't know what this pride of heaven can do. It's something like defeating a monster and dropping treasures. And it makes a lot of sense. Since the word mercy is not in his vocabulary, said Yin, he only has to prevent bad consequences. But suddenly Xiao fell to the ground. Lu told him to calm down, and warned him to act without foolishness. Xiao told her that he suddenly felt as if his body had been emptied. Yin put his arm around the girl's waist and told Xiao that whatever he had, he would kindly accept from him. Ruan noticed that even though Xiao was a famous Dragon King, he couldn't handle Yin Wudao. But suddenly there was a message on Yin's phone. He was surprised to see that the money had been deposited so quickly. His mother-in-law was stunned to see that the guy had more than 30 billion in his account. The mother-in-law said that Xiao has been arrested. The investment now won't be able to come from him, and the Jiang family is still facing bankruptcy. So, she asks Mr. Yin to fulfill the earlier promise. Yin said that everything depends on Ms. Jiang's attitude. Ruo thought about it. Ever since Xiao came to them, they had never treated him badly, even though they were not married. And yet he had never revealed his identity to her. He had become a liar to her. And now she wants to save Jiang's family. The only way is to give herself to Yin Wudao. But this man is naturally windy, perverted, rigid, and arrogant. It can be said that her life is ruined for the sake of her family. Ruo told Mr. Yin to help her save the Jiang family. The guy told her that he could save the Jiang family, but Ruo should know what he wants. Ruo wondered what the master wanted. Yin saw that her degree of hatred was 100%. He couldn't believe it because she should have 90 or higher, and she was now completely negative. Ruo was willing to do anything for her family, even to be kissed by that dog Yin. The guy told her that it's hard to be so disgusted by him and yet intentionally fawn over him. Isn't it? Ruo was surprised and said that she wasn't disgusted by him. Yin told her that she doesn't know what's in her heart. After all, an investment of 10 billion is not a small amount of money, and he can't be fooled. He's not their son-in-law. but they have a lot to talk about in business. Ian told them that he would give 10 billion to buy out Jiang Corporation. The girls were dumbfounded when they heard such figures. Ian told them that he knows how hard it is for them to accept it right away, but it's their only way out. When they think it over, have Tesha ask Ruo to come to his villa to sign the contract. The system warned him that it had noticed a sharp drop in attitude and asked the host to change strategy. In Wudao smiled and told the system that he knew how to communicate with women better than him, and his help was useless. In Wudao lived a very dignified life, because his villa was on the coast, and the young master drove a gorgeous red car. After getting out of the car, his men were worried about him. Ian said, if he had known earlier, he wouldn't have given his men the day off today, because he almost flipped the car. Standing in front of the luxurious and large house, Ian shouted to Qinya to come out quickly. While Su Qingya was cooking, when she met Ian, she said that she didn't know that he would be back so early today, and the bathing water was not yet filled. When he analyzed the girl, he saw a 90% crush and 80% degree of fear. Ian said that he didn't expect that the girl was really in love with him. But what is this consternation, he wondered. Ian asked her what's wrong with her hand. Su Qin abruptly wrapped herself up upon hearing such a question. Ian recalled the moments before, how he had bullied her. Ian said that after having the experience of coming back from the dead, he looks back on what he did before. But it really annoys him. It totally fits his villain setting. Ian told the girl that he remembered that he had a meditation room at home. Have her prepare it for him, he wanted to use it. Su Qin turned around and said that she was coming. Ian promised that although he got her as a debt repayment, but he would treat her well in the future for this love she has for him. After rebirth, he can't let her live in fear anymore. Entering the meditation room, Ian immediately began to use his magic and the power he had recently obtained. That beautiful girl in the red dress was watching him and said that even though she had helped him start his training, such a high cultivation speed was indeed a rare gift. And it seems like she didn't make a mistake in choosing a person. That piece of jade around the guy's neck is a good place to hide from the roaming god's inspections. Ian said that the true chi of the 9 dragons that he had received earlier was really good. Purifying the marrow and tendons soothes the body. He was almost certain that these impurities had been eliminated from his body, just as it was written in the book. Su Qin walked into the meditation room with a tray in her hands and told the guy to eat ginseng soup. Ian told the girl that she has such a good body in front of her, perhaps she will be able to restrain herself on the first day, but after a couple weeks, he is not sure if it will be the same. The guy told the girl to come over. Su seems to be excited and there is excitement at heart. Su surprisingly asked if he was her. Ian laughed and said that he was joking, but the soup was very good today. Su said to Ian that he will let go of the girl he brought last night. She heard that the girl's older brother is a soldier, and she's afraid that the soldier will take revenge on him. Ian pretended to ask her what other girl. Very strange, he said he was sweating and needed to take a shower. Su thought and really hoped that Ian would no longer do evil. Coming out of the shower, the guy wondered what kind of girl Qinya was talking about, and why he was not aware of it. When he looked in the mirror, he was frightened by his face and wondered what was wrong. When he looked in the bed, he saw a body. When he opened the blinds, he saw a girl lying on the bed. Ian was dumbfounded by what he saw. He now understood what Su was talking about and which girl she was referring to. People said that at first glance, this girl is an innocent newcomer, and there's no place for her here. Ian said that he didn't expect that this puppy Jiang Renjie would actually send a person here. Ian realized that he had been careless with his friends. Probably this word danger had something to do with the girl in bed. The system detected the approach of the Pride of Heaven King of Soldiers, and the system issued a new mission to survive. Ian said that this was the end, and running out of the room, he saw that indeed someone had invaded his villa. This guy was blowing Yin's guards to smithereens, unable to see any obstacles in front of him. Ian noticed that this guy's fighting ability was off the charts. This guy looked at Ian with such a look that he even saw overwhelming aggression from him. And he realized that this time didn't bode well. It was the king of soldiers, Lin Feng. He shouted for Ian to come out of his den and looked into his eyes. Ian came out and asked who had the nerve to break into his house. The guy said his name was Lin Feng, and he was here to find his little sister Lin Euro. Lin Feng said, if Ian touched a single hair on her head, his death would be agonizing. Ian laughed and said, what kind of hairy asshole comes to him and lets him yell at him? The guy got angry and lashed out at Ian, telling him to call him handsome. Ian had been waiting for this moment and decided to just use his true chi of the 9 dragons. Ian felt an incredible power in the guy's punch. If it was the former him, he would have been put down in one blow. The guy grabbed Ian's throat and told him that he didn't expect Ian to be able to withstand taking his punch. And yet he was much stronger than the other rich kids. As he was charging his punch, the guy told him that he shouldn't have touched her little sister. Then Lin ran out and told his brother to stop, because he had misunderstood Mr. Ian. The guy stopped with one hand pressing Ian against the wall. He asked Euro, "What does this all mean in the end?" Euro said that she was bullied by bad guys last night, and Sister Chinya saved her, and Mr. Ian had nothing to do with it. She said that she woke up in Sister Chinya's bed, unharmed and unharmed. The guy said that it's impossible when normal people encounter such things. They should be sent to the hospital, not brought home. Sue said he's a doctor of medicine. The guy rubbed his nose and said that there are no decent rich people. Ian told the boy that he doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. His great-grandfather is the honored founder of the country, and his grandfather served on the border. His father worked hard to rule this province on the East China Sea, and his mother pays tens of billions in taxes every year. Ian asked why on earth would he dare to blacken the efforts of 3 generations of his family. The guy just looked at him and didn't say anything. Euro quickly stood up and told her brother that he quickly apologized to Mr. Ian. He's not a bad person. The guy was thinking about it and didn't want to apologize, but he decided to tell Ian that he was wrong and apologized. The boy took his sister's hands and hung his head, saying they would leave him alone and let them say goodbye. Ian shouted for them to stand, since no one was letting them leave. The guy turned back around and asked. Ian said that the guy had seriously injured 4 of his bodyguards, and there was no way to just walk away. The guy said that he had overlooked it, and he would reimburse their medical expenses. Ian asked the guy how he would make up for it. After all, his little sister had run away to earn money and become a dancer. Almost certainly someone in his family needed money. The girl told her brother that she was sorry, because she saw how hard he worked to cover the cost of her mom's surgery and wanted to help ease the burden. Lin lowered his head and said 30 years in the East and 30 years in the West. There is no need to bully poor young people. Ian said that he had a suggestion. Not only could he cancel Lin's compensation payment, but he could give him 1 million. Ian handed him the card and offered him a chance to be his bodyguard, saying that when he left the barracks, he had sworn that he would never serve for money. Euro told her brother that the nature of the bill will not pay. The operation for Mom can no longer be postponed. The guy abruptly changed his shoes and said that he could see that Mr. Ian was a good man, so he was ready for his services. The system gave Ian the information that the true chi of the 9 dragons and combined with the attributes of a soldier king would simply be invincible. Ian thought that if a random reward is so cool, then the extremely hard to get Heaven's Pride points, doesn't that just sound overwhelming? The boy bowed respectfully. Yoroi thanked Ian for such a huge sum and said that they would definitely repay him. He noticed that the guy's loyalty is 20%, so she's more or less fine. Seeing the girl's system, he wondered what kind of degree of disposition Lin Euro had. It was 60% of worship. Ian thought and watched them and said that he was embarrassed for such a naive girl. After seeing the boys off, Ian told Euro to come over and play more often. Ian held Chinya close to him and thanked her for helping him. Otherwise Lin Feng would have definitely torn him apart. Chinya told him that this is the last time. She knows him well, even though he's terrible, and he doesn't need to cross borders. He noticed that the disposition degree system had dropped to 80, and the status of falling in love was gone. Euro was telling her brother to speed up a bit. After taking her mother to the hospital, he had to hurry to work with Mr. Ian. There was no need to be late on the first day. Lin Feng said that when they got home, Euro was talking about Mr. Ian, and he thinks she's fascinated by him. His brother tells Euro not to go near him. He has a bad reputation. Euro said it's just a rumor from the outside, he's not bad at all. But suddenly someone collapsed their gate. A guy with yellow hair told them that the deadline for moving had passed. It was time to demolish the building. It was Sang Biao. He said if the guys didn't get out of the way, they would bury them in these ruins. The guy told them that he wanted to see which one of them would dare to demolish his house, in his own presence. Euro said they didn't want to refuse to move, but the relocation fee they were offering was several times lower than normal. Sang Biao got angry and told them that they were not afraid of death. Mate came up to him and said that they were still children and didn't understand much, so he didn't need to argue with them. She said that they agreed to the demolition and would move out right away. Sang Biao couldn't stand it and angrily kicked the woman with his foot in the face, saying that it was just bad luck. Seeing this, Lin Feng just exploded with anger. Lin Feng told him how dare he hit his mother. He wanted to die. Now let him try to hit him. Sang Biao said he would not hesitate to throw him in jail. As for Lin Feng's sister and mom, but the guy couldn't help himself and grabbed his face, telling himself that he should control himself. He can't go to jail, because there's no one to protect his mom and sister. But then Yin ran in and punched Lin Feng's spot. He said that he couldn't just stand by and watch the guy suffer. Lin Feng asked him what he was doing here. Yin said that he couldn't wait for Lin Feng to come to work anymore, so he decided to check on him at home. Sang Biao stood up and said, "Who dared to hit him?" When he saw Mr. Yin in front of him, he turned into a small dog and asked why he had decided to come here. Sang Biao said he's a member of the Jiang family, and he shined Yin's shoes. Doesn't he remember him? So he'll be rich. Yin said so that's why the guy looked familiar to him. Picking up the key, he asked if it was his. Sang Biao said it was his key. He's his own man. Yuro wondered why the young master was so friendly with Yin. Lin Feng said that he was saying that they were all the same. Yin asked what kind of man is he? Is he crazy? How dare he hit an elderly man? Sang Biao said that Yin hit him even though he knew who he was. And now he's declaring war on the Jiang family. Yin said, what does he think it bothers him? In people's eyes, Yin became a different person altogether and showed his justice. Looking at them, Yin noticed that the system of their attitude towards him had increased. He knew that the best way to bribe a person was to transform in front of them. Xiang Biao said that since this was young master's decision, he only had to ask the Jiang family for help. A car arrived and Luo Feng, the illegitimate child of the Jiang family, got out of the car. He asked young Mr. Yin why he interfered in the affairs of the Jiang family. Isn't he afraid of getting his hands dirty? The illegitimate child of the family was put to solve problems. Isn't there no one else in their family? Why did they send an illegitimate child? He asked. Luo Feng couldn't stand it and called Yin a scoundrel. Rushing at him, he asked. Yin thought that his actions were bold. Isn't he afraid of bringing trouble to the Jiang family? As Luo Feng missed, he realized that Yin was fast. And how could he dodge his attack? But Lin Feng intervened and said that he wouldn't dare him to touch his boss. And with his fists clashing, Luo Feng flew backwards. Lin Feng felt that this guy was quite strong. He didn't expect that the Jiang family had good masters. Luo Feng said that if he couldn't defeat him thanks to his strength, then he would use his agility. Lin Feng said that with the ghost technique, he wouldn't be able to tell where his real body was. Closing his eyes, he trusted his gut as Luo Feng attacked from behind, saying that the guy had made a mistake. Lin Feng sensed this moment and said that Feng was fast but not enough to slay him. Yin watching the fight said that they fight as equals, and it looks like this guy plays a role in his family. After analyzing Feng, Yin learned that he was the protagonist's assassin. He could use a familiar technique combined with a flying sword. Yin wondered if Lin Feng would be able to stop the 36 swords, and who would get his soulmate. But suddenly he felt that someone from behind was trying to attack. He realized that this nutcase was just distracting Lin Feng. But how good it was that, after transforming, his sixth sense perceptions were enhanced. Xiang Biao, attacking from behind, said that by disobeying the Jiang family, they had condemned themselves to death. Yin shouted to the girl to be careful and took the blow. Yuro was surprised that he had taken the blow for her. Lin Feng asked Yin if he was all right. Feng told him not to be distracted during the fight. Yin took off his jacket and said it was all right, and now it was his turn to pump his fists. Xiang Biao told Mr. Yin that since young Master Feng had already entered the battle, he had no choice but to fight him. Biao was hit back and fell to the ground, and Yin told him to shut up and not to bark anymore. Yin felt, as expected, that although the skill was not enough, the combat power had increased exponentially. Yuro asked him if he was okay, if he hurt himself. Yin thanked Miss Lin for bothering him. The girl told him to just call her Yuro. After all, they had caused him trouble. Yin told her not to apologize. Even if it wasn't her family that was hurt today, he wouldn't turn a blind eye. He wouldn't let anyone bully the weak. Yin told everyone to stop fighting. The Jiang family is like a vampire sucking the blood out of this city. How can he just sit idly by? Yin, watching the fight, said that they were doing well, but he was afraid that at this rate, they would both get hurt. A second car came. A guy jumped out and told Luo Feng to stop, because it was his own, and he shouldn't be so hot. Sitting down at the table, the blonde asked Wu Dao, "Isn't that the girl from the nightclub?" Wu Dao crossed his arms and said to him, Only talk business. The blonde man said he heard what happened. People of lower status don't know about his relationship with this family. They acted rashly. Holding out a check of 10 million, he said it was half for moving, half compensation. Ian told Euro that since her mother and brother can't say anything right now, the choice is hers. She can accept or reject the offer. Euro asked him if he was compensating only her or the whole old city. The blonde said it was only for her. If he compensated everyone, it would cost hundreds of millions. Euro, putting the check on the table, said that she refuses to accept it. After all, she's the only one who doesn't need that kind of help too. The blonde guy told the girl not to get cocky. If she wants more, let her speak up and name her price. Euro shouted loudly that she wouldn't agree to such a thing. Ian said that apparently there was no agreement. Ian threw the table away and told them to get the hell out of here. The blonde asked him if he changed his shoes and turned his back on him because of a woman. Ian didn't hesitate and said that the blonde man was right. The blonde man told him not to blame him for what he was about to do. The blonde asked the girl. She didn't think that their meeting with Ian Wudao was a coincidence. In fact, he had his eyes on her and asked him to send her to bed with him. Ian realized that it was the puppy who had decided to expose him. And at what point did he ask him for this favor? Euro asked Inya, is it true what the blonde guy said? He knew that from past experience. She would slap him. But if he didn't dodge, he could make her fall in love with him in 10 seconds. Ian looked into her eyes and said it was true. Euro couldn't help herself and slapped him, calling him shameless. Ian said that the girl was swift like an alarmed swan. When he saw her that day, his soul never returned to his body. Ian said he shouldn't have entered that nightclub, and he shouldn't have met her, and when he could have slept well, wouldn't have gotten involved with moving because of the demolition, not to mention the injuries he received, and he would have had to fight with his best friend, who they've been friends with for over a decade. If loving someone is considered shameless, then he must be shameless, Ian said with his hand pressed to his heart. Euro caught up to him and grabbed his hand. But her brother suddenly came over and asked if the Zhang family had already left. The girl quickly let go of his hand. Euro said that she had a few more things to do at school and had to go. Lin Feng said that crazy girl, blushing like a boiling teapot. Ian asked, is Yuru still in school? Lin said that she is majoring in cultural relics evaluation at Zhang University. These days she should be busy with her internship. Ian asked the guy if the aunt was well accommodated. Lin said she was fine and thanked the boss. Ian asked Lin Feng what he thought about what had happened today. Lin said that he thought that something was wrong, that it was all suspicious. Ian said that this Luo Feng was very calculating, and his every move in the fight with him was well thought out, and now he couldn't understand why he attacked him so recklessly. Lin said that he thinks so too. Luo is very calculating, and today he attacked the boss without understanding the matter, which he thinks is more like he wants to provoke an attack on the Zhang family. Ian said that this is a very good reason for him to quarrel with the Zhang family. Luo didn't come with good intentions, and that fool Zhang won't be able to compete with him. Ian expected the Zhang family to be in big trouble, so he denies his connection with them and quietly watches the events unfold. Ian asked Lin Feng if he fought this Luo Feng to the death, would he have a chance of winning? Lin Feng said that without weapons they are not inferior to each other. But he noticed that his fingers are covered in calluses, so he is probably an expert in handling weapons, only he can't figure out which one he is using. Ian said that he uses throwing knives. Lin Feng said that the boss is a real superhuman. After all, that Luo Feng stance is really perfect for throwing knives. Lin Feng said that if Feng uses them, the best way to fight him is with a gun. Ian told him that he was right and let him use a gun. But firearms control is so strict. He wondered where he could get one. Ian told him not to worry about it, for he would make sure that Ling got the weapon. Sang Biao said that he remembered that they used to do this all the time when they were kids. He was 10 meters downwind. Feng told Biao that it must have been hard for him to stay with the Zhang family all these years. Biao told him that he owed him his life, so whatever he did for him was worth it. But is Feng sure he wants to take on the Zhang family? Feng said that in those days, his mother was not only unrecognized but also tortured to death because of her status as a dancer. This time, he came back to make the Zhang family pay with blood. Feng said that there are chicken brains hiding under Zhang's skull, he doesn't even use the market, and the old city reconstruction project is his lightning bolt in the palm of his hand, and in a few days, the old man will have a birthday banquet. When the time comes, he will take him out himself. But this scene has a lot of power. From what he heard, Even the Dragon King Xiao has fallen into his hands. It looks like they will have to defend themselves. Biao told the young master, "Don't worry, for he will completely avoid him in the future." Feng asked him if he had found the person he asked for. Biao said that he was just looking and already had some leads. Looking at the picture, Feng said that somewhere during all these years of studying abroad, he had never stopped thinking about her. This time, he would definitely not let go of her Qingya's hand again. Yin returned home and was greeted by a girl who told him to change his shoes. Today, Zhang's family sent a message saying that in a few days, the head of the family, Zhang, will be 60 years old, and they are inviting him to a banquet. Yin told her that she could go with her and keep him company. Yin said that there was no more than half a month left before their contract expired, so she would be free by then. Her father once gave her to him as payment of a debt for 3 years as his contract girl. And he's grateful to her for taking care of him all these years, and he's releasing her as per the agreement. Turning back, he saw Qinya as she was crying loudly. She said that it was 14 days, 8 hours and 42 minutes left. Arriving at the feast, all the people wished the boys a good day, while Yin wished them prosperity. People said that Wu Dao had brought his daughter-in-law with him, and young Miss Yin is really beautiful. Qinya heard this and said that they were talking out of turn. Yin asked her if she didn't like it. Qinya looked at the guy and said no. Then she wondered what she was talking about. After all, she would be leaving him very soon. And how could she like being called young Mistress Yin? The blonde man said that Mr. Yin has arrived at the feast. He said he heard that Wu Dao is warming his hands on other people's misfortune. He's talking about the Zhang family, but his dreams will soon come to an end. At tonight's banquet, he will officially inherit the Jin family. From now on, he will cover the Jin family and Ruoxue. If Yin dares to hit on her again, don't accuse him of being rude. The girl told Yin Wu Dao that without him, her Zhang Corporation would still be able to raise its head again. His devious schemes would never succeed. Yin told them that he didn't think it would be long before they knelt down and begged him. The blonde guy told him to suck his dick, because he'd rather die here than beg him. The girl said he's a cocky bastard. She'd never bow down to him. The head of the Zhang family struck a gong with a stick and said that it was time for his birthday banquet to begin. Zhang said that he was already of age and his health was deteriorating day by day, and he asked them all to come here today, hoping that they would help him witness. Zhang said that he had decided to give up his position and hand it over to his son Luofeng. The girl said that shouldn't it be Zhang Renjie? People wondered how he could hand over the position of head of the family to an illegitimate son. Blondie got angry and told his father that he's not going to die, and he can't understand if he has a problem with his legs or his head. How can he hand over the head of the family to his illegitimate son? Lo couldn't resist the blonde man's words and punched him, telling him that it was his father's birthday party and he shouldn't get cocky. Qingya saw Feng and said that he had returned. Yin Wu Dao watched her and couldn't understand why she suddenly turned pale. Opening the system, Yin realized that it turns out Luofeng's Azure goddess is the beautiful girl Qingya. Auntie Shui saw his son being shunned and told Feng to let him go. Feng couldn't help himself and punched his auntie too. People have asked how dare a bastard son attack an older son. Isn't that a bit brazen? Yin said that, as expected, Luofeng must have something to fall back on. Feng told his men to lift the man up. Biao brought a man and told him to kneel down. It was the butler Zhang Rui. People were saying that they didn't come today for nothing. Such a performance happens here. Feng said that he found out that the reason why his mother died suddenly was because Zhang Rui poisoned her. And the reason why they poisoned her was because his mother found out about their affair. As for Zhang Renjie, he is not the eldest son of the head wife of the Zhang family, but the illegitimate child of the mistress of the family and the butler. Yin said that he didn't expect that there was such drama in the Zhang family. Today is really the day when the knife was thrust into the butt and the eyes were opened. The blonde man told him what kind of nonsense he's talking about. He's the eldest son of the Zhang family. Feng told him to look at the paternity DNA test. When he saw the DNA test, he asked how come it happened to him. And on such a beautiful and long-awaited day, the girl said it was all over. The patron she had just found had failed. Yin Wu Dao saw it coming. Zhang said that from this day forward, Renjie would forfeit the Jian surname and be expelled from the family. He decided that he wanted a divorce from Chen Shui, and let him get away with nothing. Renjie asked his father not to do this. After all, he had raised him, only let him stay in the family. Feng clenched his fists and said to Jinjie, he can get out or he can get help. The guy asked for help from people, but they didn't care about him. People said that if he didn't look at them like that, they wouldn't interfere in the Jiang family's affairs. Even God wouldn't help. Bolden went to Wu Dao and said that only he can save him now. He can't abandon him at this moment. Hu just said he wouldn't resort to his help even if his life was threatened. Renjie told Wu Dao that he was wrong, so he would never dare to go against him again. The guy told Yin, if he can save him today, the old city's reconstruction project will be his. Yin turned around and left and told him that the Jiang City Central Hospital would also be taken over by him. Yin went up to Feng and said that this performance was great. Feng told Yin that they were not enemies of each other, so he advised him to stay away. Wu Dao said that the Yin family and Jiang family are longtime friends. How can he sit idly by when the Jiang family is in big trouble? Feng told him to think about it properly. Adults are responsible for their words and actions. Yin said that he was right and took out the examination report and loudly declared that it was a fake. Feng said that this is the conclusion of Jiang University, which is the most authoritative in Jiang City, so let Yin stop talking nonsense. Yin said that he decided to refute his words right now. He told Din Dong to tell everyone if the conclusion was true. Dong froze and wondered what this guy was up to. Indeed, he was giving him one headache. This Yin Wu Dao is meddling in his own business. Yin told him that his son Dong Fei seems to be working for his family, Shang Tang Corporation. Dong asked him what he wanted to say. Yin whispered in his ear that he would take care of his son. Dong immediately understood what he was talking about. Dong picked up the paper and said it was fake. They never concluded such an examination at Jiang University. Feng told the guy, although he refuted the examination. But how? Zhang Rui had already told him. This is nothing but another examination. Yin said that he didn't recall Zhang Rui's words. Yao told Zhang Rui to repeat in full what he had told them yesterday. The guy asked only not to hit him. He would tell everything that he said that he and Chen Shui had met 20 years ago. Yin told him to shut up. After all, Auntie Shui is the first daughter of the Chen family with an honorable position. Would she stoop to such a level to mess with him? Yin said that Zhu Yu has been a servant of the Jiang family for many generations and has enjoyed great gratitude. So how dare he slander his mistress and cause trouble for the young master? Such unfaithfulness and dishonor are not inherent in a servant. The wounds on his body will pass in time, Yin said, and his good reputation will be preserved in this world for a long time, which is what a real man does. Death is instantaneous, but by sacrificing himself, Zhu Yu will be able to save the life of his wife and child. Zhu Yu heard his words and said that Luo Feng had forced him to frame the mistress and the young master. He would never get so close to the mistress, and he had no dealings with the young master at all, so he was loyal to the Jiang family. Feng called him a bastard, and said that's not what he told them yesterday. Zhu Yu stood up and said he would die to prove his innocence. And smashing his head against the counter he died. This scene instantly turned the situation around and made the butler commit suicide. He destroyed the death trap he had been building for years. Worthy of the man who destroyed the Dragon King. Yin asked his uncle how to proceed with the legal heir of the inheritance right and the slander against the mistress of the Jiang family's case. He will not interfere. Jiang told his guards to throw Luo Feng out of the Jiang family, because he no longer has a son like him. Feng couldn't stand it and knocked out his father's guards and took the boy's mother as a hostage. He said that he didn't care about the Jiang family scandals as much as he didn't care about the stupid head of the family. This time he came back just for revenge. Feng slowly squeezed the woman's throat. Blondie was watching and crying at the time. Yin said that it was very trivial, nothing like that. Jiang suddenly put his hand over his heart and closed his eyes. The blonde boy saw this and told his father that he couldn't die like this. Feng said that the old man was scared to death, and he is really pathetic to be his father. Feng stood in front of Yin and said, "Next it's his turn." The guy who prevented him from legally inheriting the Jiang family. Yin said, "Why all this talk of revenge? Doesn't he care about the 100 billion assets of the Jiang family? Hypocrite? Too many words for a man who's about to die. He's just using his skill to send him to the other world." But suddenly a girl stood in front of Yin and said that she wouldn't let Feng kill him. The guy froze and asked Yer. Yao ran in and told the boss that Lu Man from the Red Shield Special Service had arrived. Feng said that they came quite quickly. As Feng climbed out the window, he told Yin Wu Dao that he would find him, Ian realized that he didn't think it was about him at all. But then Blondie woke up and took the knife in his hands and shouted to Fong not to leave, because he will cut him into pieces. Ian saw this and said that he had already escaped. Blondin fell to his knees and said in tears that his family was dead and he was left an orphan. Ian told him that now was not the time to grieve. The Zhang family could not remain in disorder. He would help him with the funeral and Blondin would take charge of the Zhang family properly. Hearing such words, quickly stood up and hugged Wu Dao, saying that he was the best. Ian told him not to get so close to him. Ian told him that they had been friends since they were in diapers. Naturally, he couldn't leave him to his fate. The blond man cried and said that Ian was really a good brother. Ian put his hand on his shoulder and told him to remember to rewrite the reconstruction project of the old city and the central hospital in his name as soon as possible. The blond man told Miss Jiang that she also saw what happened today, and he can't hurt Wu Dao for her sake. So their agreement before this is nullified, she should look for another man. Miss Jiang said that she understands him. The blond man told her that he thinks she should listen to why I ended in Jiang City. No one can stand up to Ian Wu Dao, he always gets what he wants. Ms. Jiang asked Ian that he had done all of this to make up for the black and white, and that he had no conscience at all. Ian laughed and said that she thought that all the people here were blind, or did Zhang Lianqing not know the truth? The Chun clan of Yanchunan is so powerful that if the Zhang family lightly disowned Chen Shui and eliminated Zhang, they would definitely suffer retribution from Chun. Zhang Lianqing was in a desperate situation to save his fragile reputation. He decided to change the heir. And he helped him, that's all. The girl said that it was impossible. There was no way Zhang Lianqing would disregard the blood heir of the Zhang Seven to save himself. Ian said that Zhang Rui's ancestors were descended from the second son of the eighth ancestor of the Zhang clan, and they share the same blood with Jin Lianqing's line. Zhang Renjie and Luo Feng have the same blood of the Zhang family in their bodies. If the girl were Zhang Lianqing, would she choose Zhang, who has strong support, or Luo Feng, whose mother was a prostitute? The girl lowered her head to the ground and said that she would choose Jin Renjie, of course. Coming to the villa, Ian told the girl to go ahead, because he needed to talk to Lin Fenghua about something. Lin asked Ian what's wrong with his daughter-in-law. She seems scared. Ian sighed and said that it's women. Ian told the guy to ignore her, but rather let him see what he has in store for him. When Lin opened the suitcase, he was surprised because it was a Desert Eagle. Where did the boss get it? He asked. Ian said that the mountain men have their own tricks. Lin stroked the gun and said that it was a very familiar sensation for him, bringing back memories of the army. Lin said he was sorry he didn't have a permit to carry a gun, so he wouldn't be able to show off his marksmanship. Ian slowly took out a document from his pocket, the weapon license. Lin was very surprised when he saw it. Ian told his grandfather that he was being abused and he gave him permission. Lin asked who would dare to hurt him. Suddenly a girl's voice came from the house saying that he didn't want to. Ian immediately said that it was Qinya. Lin took the weapon and went straight to the house. When he entered the room, he asked his sister-in-law what had just happened. Qinya said nothing happened. What's the matter? Lin said they heard a noise from downstairs. Qinya said, well, it's okay, because she has to clean up. Lin said it's not a cockroach. It's probably just a bedbug. When Ian entered the room, he asked why the ash from the cigarettes was outside the ashtray. Taking her hand, he asked when he became so promiscuous. Qinya turned away and told Ian that he was hurting her. Ian said that the cigarette ash is collected in small pieces, not flakes. Qinya said, maybe it's from the wind. Ian pushed her and asked, then how would she explain all that sea sand? It must have come from the beach. Ian said he's the one who came, right? Her former childhood friend? Qinya said it's not like that. Don't get her wrong. Ian released his magic and said that how dare they dare to come into his house so brazenly. Ian strangled Sang Biao, who had crept into his room, with a single blow. But then a message came from the system, telling the master to flee as soon as possible. But then Luo Feng came out and said that Ian Wu Dao would pay with his life for his friend's death. Ian said that it was just that heaven's pride anger. Last night, he had already broken through to the second level of the true chi of the 9 dragons. He uses his body defense to take his 36 flying daggers. Feng was surprised that Ian survived, and decided to try out his defense against the next attack. Feng used a bloody strike with 36 daggers and broke the guy's defense. Ian stood up and said that as expected of a protagonist, Feng really has the blessed aura of a protagonist. Feng said he was surprised. With his frail body, Ian was able to make him use his trump cards. But Yin had captured Qingyu and killed his brother, and he must pay for his sins. Qingya, as a strong girl, stood in front of Yin and told Feng not to do it. Feng asked her why, since that spoiled Bogati kidnapped her. Yet this was the second time she sacrificed herself for him. Qingya said that she hated Yin. But if it wasn't for him, she wouldn't have lasted until today. And he didn't capture her. Feng asked her if she was in love with him. How can you fall in love with that rich and stupid jerk? Feng said she cheated on her. Qingya cried and said she doesn't know. But she just doesn't want Yin to die. Yin asked her what kind of treason we're talking about. Qingya said no, it's not like that. She considers Feng a brother, that's all. Feng laughed and said that Yin had not only stolen her body, but also her heart. He hated Yin because he had stolen his wife and killed his brother. Feng was angry and threw the knife, saying that he was going to die today. But Lin came up and shot back the knife. Lin stood in front of him and started firing at him. But Feng took cover and said that Lin is the king of soldiers. Why is he helping the villain to commit crime? Is he reduced to his henchman? Lin said that Yin Wudao is a noble man. Why is Feng calling him a villain? He's the one who framed his brother, ruthlessly killed his mother and killed his father. Feng flew up and threw the knives, saying that since Lin was helping Ying, they would die together today. Lin started firing bullets over and over to knock down the knives and said, when the weapon is in his hands, the whole world is his. What can his tiny throwing knives do to him? Feng released another batch of knives and said that he wanted to see how Lin could continue to fight them off. After knocking down all the knives, Feng was very surprised. As expected from the king of soldiers Lin Feng, divine marksmanship with these weapons. After pointing the gun at Feng's head, he thanked him for the compliment and asked Yin what to do with him. Feng told him if he wanted to kill him. Qingya told Wudao that she begged him not to kill Feng. Let him leave peacefully. Yin took her by the throat and told her to give him the slightest reason to let him go. Qingya retracted her head and blushed, saying that she had agreed to serve him for the rest of her life. Yin pushed her and told her to dream on. If she can't forget him, he'll help her, and told her to clean up with him. Qingya fell to her knees and begged him not to do that, while Feng took her hand and said that they should leave. The system told the guy that the task was 90% complete, and a skill award was given. The guy said he could use the new skills. After leaving the villa, Feng fell to his knees and said that he suddenly felt as if he had forgotten something important. Qingya told Luo Feng to leave alone. Feng asked her if she had really fallen in love with that major. Qingya started crying and said that he is not a major. He saved her in the most desperate moment of his life. She remembered how she had been pinned to the table, the man telling her not to waste her strength because her father had already given her to them as collateral. Qingya begged them to let her go and called for help. But then Yin came in and smashed them all with a bat, telling them, aren't big guys ashamed of bullying a weak girl? Qingya asked Feng where he was then. Feng fell silent and apologized for not being able to protect her. Feng left and told her that he'd pay her back and take her away from him fair and square. He'd also make up for what he owed her over the years. Qingya knew that it was already impossible to catch up. Yin crept up from behind and told her since she wasn't leaving. Qingya knew that she had nothing to apologize to Wudao for. No matter what he asked, she would agree to anything. Yin poured the powder into a glass and told her to drink it. Qingya couldn't believe he was doing this, in front of her. This is his punishment. Qingya thought to him, this is how he must necessarily act towards her. There is no way she should let this affect her. She absolutely cannot show her worst side. Qingya asked him why she was dizzy. Yin said that a woman's heart was really a needle at the bottom of the sea, that there were not enough 3 points to complete the task. And at this moment, the girl fell to the floor. Yin covered her with a blanket and told her that this was between them. The men, it was none of her business, and when she woke up, everything would be fine. Yin told Lin that if the weeds are not pulled out, they will grow back, so they should go. Lin heard that and said that the boss is really a villain. Feng went to the seashore and thought that he would definitely come back to Jiang City, because when the time came, he would destroy all the obstacles and get back everything that belonged to him. But then a boat pulled up and he had to get on and leave. But he didn't realize who was in the boat. When he saw Yin Wudao, he was surprised and frightened. He asked him why Yin had come, because he had promised to let him go. Yin told him not to worry, because Qingya would never know that he killed him. Feng couldn't stand it and threw the knife, saying it was very low. Yin didn't even move when Feng threw the knife. He told him to take better aim. Lin, watching this, thought, why didn't Feng's technique suddenly work? Yin took out the knife abilities and said that the true chi of the 9 dragons was perfectly suited for the use of the 36 flying daggers. After looking under his eyes, Yin asked Feng if he recognized this ability. Feng said that it was a bit familiar to him, but he couldn't remember. Yin didn't talk for long and used his attack on Feng. The guy was cut into pieces and fell to the ground. Lin asked him where he learned the 36 blood lotus dagger technique. Yin smiled and said that he had just learned it. But Yin realized that this system was too stingy. He remembered that he saw the girl when Xiao killed him. It must have been Miss System. And it was really unforgettable. Yin thought that it looked like it was time to develop system poses, and of course system capabilities. The boy came to the house of Jiang's spirits, and standing in front of the statue, he said that Yin Wudao expresses his sincere reverence and asks Ms. System to incarnate and reveal herself to teach Wudao. Yin said that he was saved by them that day, and he can't stop thinking about her beautiful appearance. If she can have mercy on him, please condescend to reveal yourself to satisfy Wudao's despicable thoughts. But suddenly that woman appeared from his chain and said, if her king is so kind, let him allow her to introduce herself. She said that she originally wanted to wait until he unlocked the royal title before showing up, but now that she sees that he is so pious, she will make an exception. Yin, looking at her, thought that she was really beautiful. The system saw that he was horny, as expected from a great villain. She was satisfied with it. Yin wiped his drool and told the system mistress that he had a request for her. He asked her to reveal the hidden functions of the great villain system. He would be infinitely grateful. The system said, is it too much for him to want? The system should be developed step by step. He can only open new functions if he continues to complete the tasks and fulfill the conditions of opening. Yin took out a chain and asked her, isn't this her hideout? Mistress System asked him what was he going to do. Putting the chick in a lead box, he said that even nuclear radiation would not penetrate her, so her spiritual body was certainly not capable of doing so, and saw the fear of that box in her eyes. She asked him what the hell he was doing. Yin said that it was a specially made black curtain. Light couldn't pass through it, and her spiritual body must be like light. Mistress began to move against the walls and wondered what was wrong. Why couldn't she get through the wall? Madame decided to use the powers of the 3 sacred mountains and the 5 peaks. Let them borrow her strength to pass. Yin took a step and told her not to waste her strength. Especially for her, he poured liquid steel under the ground and above her head. It is an impregnable fortress. Yin told her to stop resisting and be a goody-goody by revealing all her features. Mistress told him he was a scoundrel. She told the guy he was too cocky. And how dare he insult the great system? She'll make him pay dearly for it. The mistress used her powers and vaporized. Yin, watching this, said that the invisibility technique, so there was something in this system. The mistress crept up from behind and decided to attack him, sending him to hell. But she touched him, but it didn't work. Yin said that he was right. The rules of the system were that as long as the host didn't fail the task, the system couldn't attack him. Yin held out his hand and told her, did she really think that becoming invisible would solve everything? If she doesn't want to do it the hard way, she'll do it the hard way. He'll show her the power of science. Yin, holding the remote control, said that when the temperature reaches absolute zero, everything here will be frozen. And Mistress isn't just made up of light, so ultra-low temperatures are enough to make her show herself. He grabbed her and asked her if he was holding on to her neck. She screamed at him to let her go because she was in pain. Yin started laughing and apologized to her, because he didn't notice when she was invisible. He said it was cold and the temperature was dropping fast, so he should move faster or he would freeze to death. Yin said that Ms. Su, it turns out he's just a system administrator too. Since they're both slaving away here, is it really necessary for her to give him a hard time? Yin told the girl to tell him exactly what this supreme system great villain wants from him. The girl said Yin Wudao is actually the reincarnation of Emperor Zhou Di Xian, and she is Su Dajia, here to help him reclaim the throne of the King of Men. Yin heated a stick and slowly touched Su and told her, speak humanly. Das, you said that since ages, countless heaven's favorites have destroyed countless villains because of their moral principles. The supreme system of the great villain is the concentration of the resentment of all the dead villains. Its role is to use the system to turn him into the greatest villain and destroy all the proud sons of heaven. Yin dropped the stick and said that this beautiful face was too tempting. Su asked him what he wanted. Su said that Wudao is worse than any villain. He wants to sleep with the system. Een slowly touched her breasts as Sue suddenly said that she agreed to open the hidden functions for him right now. Sue kept her promise and opened the functions. Een said that everything else was easy to understand, but what was the meaning of reputation? Sue said that reputation points can be exchanged for items in the store. Een asked how to get these reputation points. Sue said there are two ways to get it. One is to make people worship him and the other is to make them fear him. Een said it's all about gathering fans and those who will fear him. Een told her to show him what was in the store. After seeing the store, Een said, "It's pretty good, all the things are good." Een said that especially this true golem, it can be used as a double in critical moments just like a rescue artifact. Een told Sue to forgive him for offending her greatly. He hopes that in the future they can become close and cooperate sincerely. Sue couldn't help herself and punched him in the face. Een said if it made her feel better, when he analyzed her, he saw the worst indicators. Sue said he was a womanizer and she wished she'd never known him again. When he got home, he got a call from a girl saying that she broke an antique and people are making her pay for it. What should she do? Een told her to just pay if she broke it. Een told Euro to wait and not to be afraid and tell her where she is now. He will come to her soon. The salesman told her that she was a little bitch, completely armless. She couldn't even catch such an important antique. And she asks what she could have done? Does she even know how much this Ming Dynasty glazed wine bowl costs? Can she afford to pay for it? Euro said that she didn't touch the wine bowl. It was him who let go of it and it fell to the floor and broke. Li Bin took her by the hair and said, "How dare she bicker anymore? He will unbuckle her to death." But then Een came and grabbed his hand and told him to stop. He told Li Bin that he was unusually bold. The shopkeeper asked him who he was, and how dare he interfere in the affairs of Yunxi's store. Lin Feng said that the owner was a bastard and the guy would beat him to death. Een told him to take his time, he would take care of him. Een told Euro to tell him what happened. Euro said that some time ago, a man came into the store and pawned the wine bowl. And when Master Li got it today during inventory, he gave it to her to study. The master asked her if she wanted to examine the Changhua porcelain. Let her come over and take a good look. Euro told Master Li not to hold it with one hand and to be careful. Li walked up to Euro and reached out to touch, saying she has such delicate hands. What skincare products does she use? Li deliberately let the bowl go to the ground and dropped it on the floor. Euro said he did it by accident. Li said that Euro is a little bitch and how dare she slander him. She is the one who broke the wine bowl and should take responsibility for it even if she doesn't want to. Een said how arrogant it is. How arrogant he is now, and how pathetic he'll be later. Not only were they in the store, but also shunned the streamer girl. She said that Euro, who was being bullied, called a couple of handsome men. The situation is getting out of control, and a fight is about to break out. The system told the guy that a favor was received. Een said it looks like it's being broadcast live. Good thing too, I'll get a reputation. Een asked the clerk if he had a camera in the store. We should check and we can easily find out who broke it. Li apologized and said that unfortunately, the camera was broken. Een told the guy behind Li to come over. The guy said he didn't know anything and not to ask him. Een threw 2 wads of money on the table and said, "Tell him the truth and it will all be his." Seeing them, the guy was surprised. Li told Zhang to say what he should and not to say what he shouldn't. Let him not let money ruin his life. Een threw a couple more packs on the table and told the guy if he didn't tell, Een would give it to someone else. Lin asked Een why not just fight, it's not his style. Een said what's the hurry? Lin will still have a chance to prove himself. The guy got excited and said that he would show that Li Bin had broken the bowl himself, and then blame it on Lin Euro. It was a Ming Dynasty glazed wine bowl worth several hundred million. Taking the bowl in his hands, he said he'd blame it on that new girl who came in. Een said to Lin Feng, didn't he lose his temper? Let him sort it out for him now. Destroy everything here. Li told them they're crazy. Do they even know whose business this is? Li told Juro to tell the brothers to stop or he'd kill her. Een intervened and took Li's hand, saying that he had been patient for a long time. But he was going to touch Euro with that hand and hit him? Een looked at the seller with an angry look and told the seller that his hand was not needed then and broke it. Looking at the reputation system, he wondered how a live broadcast could bring such a reputation value. The streamer has only seen her online viewership increase. She's a small streamer with an audience of 18,000 and has become popular. As she filmed the whole thing, she realized that it wasn't really an act, and that the man's fingers were actually broken. Should she call the police? The vendor told the boys that they were finished and that they were the property of the Bai family. If they offended the Bai family, Ian was tired of hearing these meaningless words and stepped on his foot. He dropped it, saying that they should drown at least one. He wants to see it. Lee shivered and screamed from the lobe in his leg, because it hurt like hell, and they're all going to regret it. The door to the store opened. A woman in a beautiful dress walked in and asked who dared to make a disturbance in her Yunchi store. Lee barked and said that it was the lady who had come, and they were all finished. Euro told Brother Wudao to leave quickly. Chairman Bai has a lot of influence. He doesn't want to involve her in this. She can handle her own problems. Ian told Bai Yunchi that her old man isn't dead yet, and she's already the chairman. Bai told Ian Wudao that the dog is still alive. Ian hugged her and told Auntie Yoon he missed her to death. Yoon said enough. He is a spoiled youngster. He can fool his girls. Lee saw this picture and wondered what kind of situation is this? Even the young Mr. Ian turned out to be this guy. It's over, he's finished. Euro realized that they knew each other, and their relationship seemed quite unusual. They sat down at the table, and Yoon told the boy to tell what had happened here for such a long time. Ian said that's exactly what happened, and the video is proof of it. His man was hurt, and he's demanding that the situation be dealt with. Yoon told salesman Zhang that he can take his money and leave. He sold out his master for personal gain. There is no place for him in the antique business. Let him go back home and start his own small business. Zhang listened to her and apologized, to which Yoon said that he would never apologize because it was his own choice. His treasure appraisal ability is inherited from his family. With his splendid talent, she is going to train him and make him the chief manager of the Jiang family. Yoon said that when he had the chance, he didn't take it.l. I just lay on his knees and apologized at her feet. Yoon couldn't help herself and slapped his face with her heel and said, how dare he sabotage Yunchi's store? After all, he couldn't even hold the bowl, so why did he need those hands? Yoon was cruel and cunning and told her boys to cut off his hands. Yoon asked Wudao, is this solution satisfactory to him? Ian asked Euro, is she satisfied? The girl quietly said that she is satisfied. Ian saw the system notifications that the reputation value had suddenly stopped rising. Apparently the broadcast had ended. Sue asked him why the reputation value had suddenly increased so much. Is there a bug in the system? Ian told her that she didn't know anything about gaining subscribers on the live stream. Ian said to the girl, this is not a cheap wine bowl, right? Yoon said that 10 years ago it was sold at auction for 280 million, and according to the contract, she has to pay them back 10 times the money. As Ian knows that it is not easy for a woman to be the head of the family, she can make money for the bloodsuckers in her family, but she can't afford to lose it. Ian said that maybe he can help her. Yoon said that if he could really help her, she would give him this Yunchi store. Lin told the boss that they just trashed their store and are in a bad relationship. Why is he helping them again? Did Auntie Yoon ever blame them for trashing the store? She chopped off Lee's hands for Euro and completely restored their good name. Ian said that as long as there was mutual respect, they could all live peacefully. Lin thought that this might be an unspoken rule of high society. The system told the guy that the purchase of the recovery elixir was successful. Ian said that it had indeed appeared out of thin air. Ian said that according to the instructions, one only needed to combine the broken parts and use the recovery elixir to successfully repair it. Yoon asked Wudao what the hell is he doing? He doesn't intend to glue her? Does he think other people are idiots? Euro said it's a little unconscionable. Ian picked up the bowl and said that it was ready. Yoon took a magnifying glass and said that the bowl was restored. It was just like it was. Euro said that all the cracks had disappeared without a trace. Wudao, is he a wizard or something? A man came in and told Mistress Bai that he had come to collect his mortgaged goods. Yoon saw them and said that they had come like a lightweight. It was Chin Tion, and a girl named Lu Man Tion asked Mistress Bai who she had offended. Why is the store in such a mess? Yoon said that she was thankful for Chin's concern. There had been a small misunderstanding. It had already been dealt with. Tion said that the mistress had misunderstood. He was not worried about her. Tion said that he was only worried about the Ming Dynasty wine bowl that he pawned in her store. Is it intact? Isn't it like these porcelain pieces? They are all broken. Ian saw them and thought, isn't that the commander of the Red Shield Special Forces? She doesn't catch spies. Why is she here? Lu Man also stared intently at Ian, without even averting her eyes, hoping that he would not reveal her identity. Yoon told him not to worry, even if all the antique things here are broken. his thing will be intact. Tian saw the bowl and wondered, how is it really his item? But how can it be unharmed? It's unscientific, right? Didn't he ruin the bowl? Could it be a fake? Tian said that now that there are no traces left, even if it wasn't a fake, it has become one. But again he reminds us that it's a bowl, not a bowl. Tian lifted the bowl and asked, what did she slip him? Isn't she taking on too much? Tian said that Chenghou porcelain has been perfected over the past 500 years. The colors are unsaturated but restrained and elegant. The walls of the bowl are covered with yunwu, and small bubbles can be seen everywhere. This fake is a mediocre product of modern technology. It has a rich color and completely lacks bubbles. Yun wondered how it could be fake when she had seen it restored by Wu Dao's own hands. Yuro said that this person's appraisal skills were top-notch. He was incredible. If she hadn't seen with her own eyes how brother Wu Dao restored the bowl, she would have believed it. Wu Dao heard these words and said that the recovery elixir was so strong that it had fixed all the flaws of the antique. Tian told Mistress by that it's not nice of her to joke around like that. According to the rules, she has to compensate him 10 times the price. He is Qin Tian, not the type to put a woman in a predicament. Let's do it this way. She'll give him this store and they'll close this matter. Yun wondered if he just wants Yunqi's store for nothing. All the antiques in the store have been destroyed. The only thing of value here is the land. Even the signboard of Yunqi's store is not worth billions. She would give it to Yin Wudao or Qin Tian. She would give it to him anyway. It would be better to act according to the situation, so why not accept it and finish the matter? Yun tried to say something, but she was interrupted by Yin. Yin said that this wine cup is indeed a fake. Tian said, since they have already admitted to faking, do they need to say anything else? Immediately have them give him Yunqi's store. Yin said that he said that the bowl was fake, but he didn't say that it was forged by them. Tian asked him what did he mean by that. Yin said that because it was Tian who faked it. Tian told him to watch his words or he would sue him for slander. Yin said that there are 19 Ming dynasty bowls in the world, among which only 4 are in private collections. Is it true? He asked. Tian said that this is true, and of these 4, 3 are in the collections of famous artists, and only the whereabouts of one is unknown. And his bowl is the same one that was lost. Yin said it was funny. He told Lin to go to the garden at the back of the villa and bring a cat feeding bowl from the cattery. Tian said that he was insulting him now. Even if Yin has some pittance, there is no way he would use something that costs hundreds of millions to feed a cat. At best it is industrial garbage from the road that costs 5 yuan apiece. The blogger said that she told all the circumstances. Now she's waiting for that cat food bowl to arrive. And this time it was without scenes of harshness. Should not be banned again. Lin brought this bowl and Ian said that he got it from his old man. It looked good, so he started to feed the cats from it, so don't mind the dirt. Yuroi took a magnifying glass and said that of course the glaze is cloudy and the color is subdued. Tian pushed her away and told him to take a look. Tian activated the ebony gold eyes and looking at the bowl he couldn't believe his eyes. Tian said that this pawned item will be taken back by Oi. Ian broke the bowl and said that according to the rules, his fake must be destroyed. Tian calmed down and said that he didn't care and said goodbye. Lu Man said that Ian was a moron, he had hurt an important case. Hearing these words, Ian wondered what kind of important matter she had in mind. It seemed to him that there was some kind of hidden agenda. Yun called Tian a provincial boy. How dare he deceive the Bai family? Ordering his men to chase him down and break this Tian's limbs and drown him in the river. Ian told Aunt Yun not to be reckless. He wasn't sure about Qin Tian, but the woman he was with had a special status and shouldn't be trifled with. Yun said since Ian said so, she would be discreet. Yun said that she thanked Wu Dao for his kindness. If he needed her help in the future, he should not hesitate to ask Dadain Jiang. Aunt Yun is still capable of doing something. She gave a piece of paper and said that it was a deed of transfer. Let him sign. Ian said that she was very modest. Ian signed a piece of paper and said that he was handing over the antique store to Euro. The girl said that it was too expensive, you can't do that. Ian said that she specializes in antiques, it's called working in her field. As she's still shunning him? Bien said no and remained silent. Ian analyzed it and saw that the degree of disposition had only gone up by 1. It seems that Lin Euro is not greedy for money. But why did this reputation value suddenly increase so much again? Euro hugged him and told brother Wu Dao that she would properly run the antique store for him. He noticed that live broadcasting is a great way to build a reputation. And the blogger was presenting her first wealth. Euro was happy because she was the owner of this place. She thought she was dreaming. Lin said he was congratulating Euro and stepped on the porcelain. Euro got angry and told him to watch his step. Euro said that Lin was nasty. How could he break so many antiques? There were so many real items inside. Lin Feng shouted that he was just following orders. Ian grabbed her and told her to cool it. Euro told him not to stop her, because Lin had broken at least 100 million worth of antiques. She wanted to pay him back. Ian told her it was fine. Let her better look at these 3 vials of elixir that would help her restore the antiques, and he would leave the cat bowl here for publicity. Euro said it's really great, but she would like to point out that it's not actually a cat bowl, but a glazed Ming Dynasty wine bowl. Could be the symbol of the store. Ian thought that Tian had given up billions in compensation and instead only wanted this store. Even considering that he had destroyed it, he still held on to it. Even the devil wouldn't believe that there is no heavenly treasure in this place. So he decided to check what mystery is hidden here. Using this guy's skills, he said it's the ability to see through. But suddenly he found something. Euro came running in and said that she had recovered the first thing. Ian looked through his vision and said that it was very big. Euro said that it was called Tianqiu's jug, and it was really big. But suddenly a girl came in and asked them to stop for a second. She said that the streamer soon and she would like to talk to Ian about cooperation. Ian said that he can no longer one after another. Is it not too good? Soon asked him if he was okay. Ian asked her if she wanted to film his daily life. Soon said she'll pay, and they can split the reward 50-50. Or better yet, 60-40, the guy's 60 and she's 40. She said she'd settle for 90-10, and that was her final offer. He can't make her work for nothing. Did she think he was that petty? Soon said that, in just a couple of streams, the reward amounted to hundreds of thousands. Ian told her she could shoot him and take all the bounty for herself, but he had a condition. Soon was surprised at his words that she could take everything. Ian told her that she should sign a contract for 10 years and come at his first call. And the worthy reasons for not coming to work are illness, earthquake, and childbirth. Ian knew that this girl is a stable source of reputation. Need to get her at any cost. Sun said that after listening to Yin's words, the cat started to shake its head, and the dog started to shake its head too. Sun didn't think long about the proposal and told the gentleman that she agreed to sign the contract. Ian told Lin Feng to stay and help Euro clean up the place, because he would be late. Euro told brother Wu Dao that she would be here and wait for him to have a bite to eat in the evening. Ian knew why he was doing this, because there were too many eyes here during the day, so he would return for the treasure when it was dark. When Sun opened his car door, she was shocked and told him that he had a great car. Ian told her to get in. Sun got into the car and started streaming and was happy to see such a luxurious car. Ian came so close to her that she was scared. Sun told him that she is selling her art, not her body. Ian told her that she is thinking too much. He is just helping her fasten her seatbelt. Ian knew that the system had never imagined that the reputation that once belonged solely to heroes could be so easily obtained in the age of entertainment and the reign of traffic. Arriving at the boat, Ian told her that he would take her to the counselor's meeting. They were just gathering here on the riverbank. The girls said that the boss had come, and they should come over to greet him. Seeing this picture, Sun was surprised and even blushed. The girl told Ing that she missed him. She only lost 20 million this month, so she should definitely double her bonus at the end. Ian surrounded the ladies and told them that no matter how much they lost, he would double their bonuses. Soon, watching the streamer, said that the sight of beautiful girls made people look like wolves who smelled blood. Covering him with kisses, Ian said that he was tired to death. Even breathing was hard for him after this. Who is Yin's personal secretary, came to the meeting and told him that he should stop indulging them. They are filling their pockets and doing business erratically, and there is too much loss in the stock funds. Ian smiled and said that it doesn't matter. After all, there is no profit without loss. Jiang went to the firm today to look for him, but he wasn't there, so she went to his villa. Ian was surprised to hear Jiang's name and said that she had bowed her head high. Ian told Sun that he would take her to see his house. The girl asked, "Won't they go ashore to get into the car?" Ian said that he had a private pier at home. Sun blushed and thought, this is the life of rich people. When he arrived at the villa, he saw Ruoxue on the balcony and asked why she was looking for him. She turned around and said that Ian had won. Jin's family meeting unanimously agreed to his takeover offer for 10 billion. Ian was very calm and said he regretted it, but he had changed his mind. Now he doesn't want it. Ruoxue asked him, what kind of tricks is this, or is he trying to pull something again? Her Jiang Corporation is being sold at a low price of 10 billion. What more does he want? Ian told her that she was the one who halfway cooperated with Jiang and spoiled his mood. And she needs to think about her behavior. Leaving the girl asked him, doesn't he want her? And slowly unbuttoning his shirt, she said that she agreed to it. Ian poured himself a glass of wine and said that she was doing the right thing and let her continue. Soon wondered if this was too much, since her broadcasting room would be demolished again. She received a notification that the live broadcasting room was blocked forever. Ruoshua told young master Ian that her body was innocent. Ian said that the most noble and talented girl of Jiang City had taken off her gorgeous clothes, with a naked body that countless Jiang men dreamed of. Ruoshua cried and said, will this really happen? Will she not be able to escape the fate of the girl he dishonored? Ian put a jacket on her and said that he really wants her, but he doesn't want to see her cry. He wants her to climb into his bed of her own free will. Ian said that from today, all the companies and finances under his name are transferred to her care, including the Old City Reconstruction Project and the Jiang Group. Ruoshua asked him if he was handing her something worth 100 billion yuan. Ian said that at the age of 18, she went abroad to study business administration, and at the age of 21, she pulled the Jiang family from bankruptcy to the top. If it wasn't for those people who protected her, the market value of the Jiang family would be in the billions now. A brilliant business lady he trusts. Ruoshua thought and realized that in many years, he was the first person who understood her situation. All this time, she had seen him as inclement weather, but he was the only one who was honest with her. He sincerely wants to sleep with her and sincerely trusts her. A real villain is much better than that hypocrite Xiaoqin. Jiang's family has dulled her talent in business, and it's not even half as good, because she's always being pushed around. She had forgotten her ambitions in the business world, the sea of promises she had made when she first graduated from high school. She wanted to be the first female CEO. Ian had given her hope again. Ruoshua said that she will take care of his assets again, but he must fulfill 3 conditions. First, he must fire his team of private financial advisors. Second, he must let her act on her own. And third, he cannot personally interfere with any of her decisions. Ian nodded his head and said that he agreed. As expected from a talented business lady, who was confirmed by the system how professional the conditions put forward to her were. Ruoshua was surprised that he agreed without even thinking. Why unconditionally he trusts her and treats her so well. Ian knew he was right to hold back. If he took advantage of her position, but he would never be able to get her. Ruoshua said she would go if there was nothing else to do. Ian told her not to touch Xiaomi from the advisory group, and let her do whatever she wanted with the others. Ruoshua realized that in the end he had put a spy on her, and she almost believed that he trusted her unconditionally. Soon said that everything had gone to shit. The live broadcasting room was blocked again. Ian opened the system and said that it was not bad. He had increased his reputation by about 300,000 more. Soon said that they are permanently banned. It's not easy to get a big number on the air. They just got 100,000 subscribers, and now the channel is banned forever. Ian asked her if she was streaming at Dolu. He'll put in a good word with their boss. Soon told him not to brag about it. The CEO is also a man with a fortune of 5 billion. Why on earth would he listen to him? Ian called the phone and told Edgar to unblock Sun Xiaoxiao's number. Suddenly, Sun called Chao Guang. He said that he would unblock her right away, and the number was added to the whitelist. Sun thanked Ian. The guy gave her a business card with his phone number. She can only call when she needs to take a sick leave. The cab won't come here, so she should go to the garage and pick something out, and return it later. Sun said if they don't go on the air today, she'll go. Sun thought to herself, what kind of authority is she messing with? Even the headmaster is afraid of him. What is it? Sun said that the boss told her to choose a car. But it's just a simple courtesy. She can't take someone's luxury car. Any scooter for 100,000 will do. When she saw her boss's parking lot, she just froze with her mouth open. But of course, poverty limited his imagination. Sun was happy and said that this 918 Porsche was probably the cheapest thing inside. The guy watching her said that Xiao dared to drive someone else's car and enter someone else's house without shame. It was her husband Nick, and he decided to end it today. After arriving at her home in the street of youth apartments, Sun immediately told the interesting news to her friends that the faults had been fixed. but they could go to other rooms to broadcast while she was in the shower. She thought the pervert who knocked on the door last time wouldn't come again. Uncle Policeman told her that he would arrest him if he bothered her again, so he wouldn't dare come. Walking into the shower, she said that he was the one who originally wanted to break up, and that's why they broke up. But suddenly, unsuspecting, this man opened the door with a key and told Xiao Xiao that her husband was here. People who were in the broadcast didn't understand what was going on. When she came out of the shower and saw him, the girl froze. The man asked the girl if she had finished bathing. Sun asked him how he got here. The guy said he wanted to stay with her forever. Sun couldn't stand it and threw a towel at him, telling him to get out of here. The man said he saw everything. She left the villa and drove away in a luxury car. Did she sleep with someone else? The man asked her if she doesn't love him anymore. Is she a cheater? Sun said what he's doing. She doesn't even know him. Let him just leave. The man lit the fuse and told her he wanted his wife to stay with him forever. When he broke the wick, he said, the man said that they would burn together and be inseparable for eternity. The man told her not to be afraid, for he would make the whole building die with them. That way they wouldn't be lonely down there. Sun remembered the phone and told her friends to remember the screen recording. It may be the last image of her that will remain in this world. But suddenly she remembered her boss, so she decided to call. But Ian just hung up and didn't answer the phone. Sun began to suffocate from the smoke in the apartment and told her boys that she was going to die soon and they would meet in the next life. But suddenly the door opened. She thought the police had come in time to rescue her. But it was Ian who said that everyone was looking at his streamer, but he looked very pitiful. Sun asked him how he got here. Ian said that he had just watched her stream and was on his way, so he hung up. Sun said that this pervert set fire to an entire building, and she doesn't know how many people will be hurt. After leaving the room, the man came out to meet them. He asked Sun, did she really cheat on him? If it's a matter of course, then they'll both die in this house. Ian told Sun to turn off the movie for 5 seconds. The man was determined to kill them and finally told them to die so they could stay together forever. Ian couldn't leave it like that and managed to shoot an arrow into the bottle, which shattered and covered the man in flames. She said that the one who died in the fire was a pervert. Playing with fire, he blew himself up on his own landmine. She doesn't even know how many people will die this time. Ian thought about it and said that it was a good opportunity to do a noble deed and stand up for justice. Perhaps he should take it to gather more reputation. Ian told Xiao Xiao that she is not in any danger now, so he should go and continue to save people. Xiao Xiao said that the fire has already broken out. It is very dangerous inside. If he leaves, he may not come back. No need to play the hero. Ian poured a bucket of water on himself and said that there are no heroes in the world, only people with hot blood. And he has it boiling. Ian fearlessly entered the burning house without thinking about his life and started taking people out one by one. Xiao Xiao saw so many people on the street. She was surprised by this. People were saying that the great hero was still in the building, just as long as nothing happened to him. Xiao Xiao asked the guy why the man who saved them didn't come out. The guy said he kind of went to save the others. Xiao Xiao wondered what kind of guy this guy was. He was rescued, and now he's behaving in a heart-chilling manner. Ian took an axe in his hand and asked the people what was stopping them. He ordered them to get out of here immediately, and he would chop up anyone who didn't move. The people started to worry that if they jumped over the flames, they would be afraid of getting burned. Ian told them what nonsense they were talking about. They should hurry up and jump. But Ian saw the guy and asked him why he was standing. Ian saw the wheelchair and gave him a blow with his axe, which made the guy stand up and jump over the flames. The girl stood on the windowsill and asked the guy why he didn't jump, because she was afraid to jump alone. Ian said it's the fucking first floor. Even if she wants to, she can't break. If she doesn't jump, he'll kill her right now. He knew that the vast majority of people who died in a fire were indecisive and missed the best time to save themselves. Since they couldn't make up their minds, he would help them. Luckily, he had the protection of the 9 dragons' true chi. Otherwise, he would have been roasted to a crisp. Suddenly, he heard Xiao Xiao shouting for him to come out. Ian told Lin Feng to put Xiong in his villa. The guy said he understood and would take her. Lin Feng told the boss that Yuru was waiting for him at the store. Ian said he'd go and find her after he'd sorted it out. Ian received a notification from the system that he had obtained a reputation of 3.8 million. And now the reputation points were enough to use. It was time to dig up that treasure. Why are there still people in the store? When are they going to close? Tian said that there is only that pretty saleswoman in the store. Maybe we should just go in and straighten her out. Lu Man noticed Ian and asked why he came here. Brao opened the door and was glad that he had come. Tian said that the beauty was waiting for a secret date. Lu Man said that they wouldn't put their plans on hold because it was urgent. Tian told her not to worry. He had already promised to help her. He would make sure that this thing wouldn't slip through their fingers. Tian thought carefully and said that they should wait. They should not act hastily. Euro said that it might not be anything special or super delicious, but she had wanted to invite Brother Wudao over for dinner for a long time. Ian said it was great because he was hungry. Euro held out the food and told him to try it. Because her relatives from her city sent this meat, it must be tender. Ian said that the cooking pot in the antique store is awesome. Euro took out a bottle and told Wudao to see what she had. This herbal wine is over 100 years old. She found it in a warehouse in the backyard. She had already tasted it. Ian noticed something and started to watch closely. Euro asked him what he was looking for. He said he was looking for a mechanism. Euro asked what the mechanism was, a machine gun. Ian said it was a mechanism to open a secret passage. He could clearly see that there was a secret room downstairs. But where was the entrance? Euro hugged him from behind and said that Brother Wudao is so good and looks good. Ian knew that she is such a pure and innocent girl. How alcohol changes her behavior so much. She became rowdy and her character changed. Ian grabbed her hand and said she needed to sober up. Euro said she didn't understand him. Ian didn't understand what was so wild and how a fragile girl could be such a bully. But suddenly Ian hit the switch and the light went out. Euro said that she loved Wudao. Ian asked her to stop climbing on him because he was uncomfortable. Tian and Lu Man sneaked into the store at this moment. Tian said that the two finally left. He almost fell asleep in anticipation. But they didn't suspect that the guys hadn't left yet and were sitting quietly in the corner. Ian didn't understand what was going on. They must have decided to rob the store. Lu Man told the guy that she had already examined this store during the day and found no secret mechanisms. Does Tian know how to get this treasure? Tian said it's simple. Tian said that he would use his eyes of ebony gold, and he would find it right away. Tian said that he had found it and they needed to make a couple of turns and the floor would have to part. Lu Man saw a silk head on the wall and decided to spin it, when suddenly the passage of the mechanism opened. The mechanism opened and the guys were surprised. Lu Man said that there is a huge pile of cultural relics that in fact, Tian found them. He is amazing. Lu Man said, not bad. This is a cloisonné porcelain chilin just like the one in the picture. It's the same batch of items that was stolen not long ago. Tian said that as they agreed, he only takes one item, the rest is all hers. Ian sneaks up behind him and asks if they split the loot between the two of them, and he, as a witness, should also share. Tian turned around and saw Ian Wudao and asked, didn't he leave? Ian didn't talk to them and threw the dagger, saying, how dare they rob his store? Are they looking for death? Tian repelled his attack and said that the dagger was sharp. Ian said, can he repel 36 daggers at once? Tian said that he honestly didn't expect a major like him to possess such skills. But unfortunately he had stumbled upon him. Tian used his eyes and gained the skills of a worm gold eye master, a fiend master, a treasure appraisal master, and a follower of Biebao. Tian told Mr. Ng that his actions are absolutely always accurate. He never makes a slip. Tian managed to strike, but Ian said that this dagger wasn't bad. But he still underestimated him. Ian got angry and told him to try out his True Nine Dragon's Chi and launched a strong attack. Ian took the knife to himself and thanks to the system, he gained strength and can fight. Even without Lin Feng's protection, he is able to defeat a strong enemy. But it's a pity that Tian is not a proud son of heaven, and he can't collect his points of pride and eyes of ebony gold. The system said that it has found a new proud son of heaven. His name is Qin Tian, and his main skill is his eyes. Ian was surprised by this clue because Tian was the new proud son of the sky, and he was given 2 points of pride. Ian understood that 2 points for the son of the sky wasn't easy to obtain. Point 1 shouldn't underestimate the aura of the main character. Lu Man pointed the gun and told Ian to calm down. It's all a misunderstanding, and she can explain everything to him. Ian said that they committed a burglary, and he is still trying to kill him because explanations are meaningless here. Lu Man apologized and said that Tian was too impulsive. In fact, there is a reason why they came for this antique. This antique is a national treasure, sent abroad. After years of countless difficulties, The great hero gave the documents for these relics to his homeland free of charge. But on the way back to the country, he was robbed. After they received information that the stolen goods were spotted in the antique town, so she made a deal with Tion. He, as a follower of Tabeo, can recognize where the treasure is. They originally wanted to use that scheme in the afternoon, but they didn't expect him to figure them out. Ian said that it seemed like these things were problematic. Lu said yes, and they suspected Bai Yunqi as the mastermind behind it all, so they broke in to find physical evidence. But now she told Lu that the physical evidence has been found. But Ian is the owner of the store, so the suspicion falls on him. Ian put down the knife and said that it was a misunderstanding. He would cooperate with him and they could take. Tion said it was getting late as a girl from the store ran out to them. Ian asked Yuro what's wrong with her. Yuro took the knife and stabbed Ian with it. When he saw her eyes, he realized that Tion had taken control of Yuro. Tion said that his ebony gold eyes could not only see through, predict the future and follow the speed of movements, but also capture souls. Lu Man went up to Mr. Ian and apologized. She didn't expect him to do that. Ian told her to get lost. She was the one who distracted his attention, which Tion took advantage of and took control of Juru. She's also pretending to be something else. Lu said that she didn't mean to. She asked Tion why he did that if he saw that the dagger was on the ground. Tion said that she has a woman's soft-heartedness. Majors like him are always vindictive. They already had a clash. He agreed to a truce with him, so he should deal with this problem. Lu Man got angry and said he was a scumbag. Tion said it's called discretion. Tion said that Yin's strength should not be underestimated. His identity should never be revealed. He must fundamentally stop such a possibility, so he must kill the witness. Tion didn't wait long and ordered Yuro to kill herself. Yuro took a dagger and slit her throat. Ian got angry and said that Tion was a dead man. Smashing the ground with his fists, he told him that he would kill him. Tion said that Ms. Shue's dagger blade is extremely poisonous. If he wants to kill him, let him wait for the next life. Lu said that she sincerely apologized to him. Ian was so angry that he said even if he became a ghost, he would never leave them. As they were leaving, Tion asked her if she had decided to kill him once he had done his part. Lu said that he was a murderer and she should arrest him. Tion said that if neither of them spoke up, no one would know what he had done. Lu Man was very angry and said that Yin Wudao and Lin Yuro were dead. They shouldn't have died. He grabbed her hand and said that she wasn't arresting him for justice, but for Yin Wudao. Tion told Lu that they only returned what was rightfully theirs. They didn't meet anyone at the antique store, and now she would go and arrest Bai Yunqi. Lu was kept by Tion. She said the name of the physical evidence. She will go and arrest her. His ebony gold eyes could even rewrite memories. Ian said that Yuro is Heaven's favorite daughter. She must be protected by Heaven. She can't die so easily. When he stood up for her, their fates intertwined. Maybe he could at least temporarily become a proud son of Heaven, and then it would give him a chance to survive. Ian said that there was no way he would let her die. The system told him that the store was closed for him. Ian shouted at Sue that she couldn't do that to people. Yuro was about to die. Sue appeared and said that even fate had turned its back on Ian. Did he get what he deserved? When he locked her up in that prison, did he think it would turn out like this? Ian realized that it didn't take an eye of black gold to realize that the situation was getting out of control. Sue wouldn't miss the opportunity to get even with him. If this continued and he asked for help, she won't save the weak. The only thing left to do is to beg her to save Lin Yuro. He bets that she'll save him too. Ian tells Sue that their disagreement has nothing to do with Yuro. He knows he is a rotten man. Let him die. But he asks her to save Yuro. Sue realized that he was really begging her to save this girl. Turns out he loved her. Maybe her great villain system is a mistaken man. Ian knew that although Mu was the administrator of the great villain system, it still couldn't resist the natural law. Still, one had to admit that although he was betting that he would save Yuro with him together, the certainty was somewhere around 80%. The system exchanged 2 million reputation points for the antidote pill was successful, and he was left with 1.8 billion reputation points. Yuro had a terrible dream and woke up screaming. Ian came to her and said it was over. Yuro apologized and said that she didn't mean to hurt him, but his body wouldn't listen no matter how much she tried. When the dagger pierced his body, her heart broke. Ian told her that it was okay not to worry. They couldn't resist kissing each other. But suddenly Lin Feng came in and asked what they were doing. Lin asked him if he hired him to flirt with her sister. Ian told him not to pay attention to such trivialities. Ian said he came in a hurry. Was there an emergency? Lin said they had just been contacted by the Bai family. They said Lu Man had sent people to arrest Bai Yunqi. They asked for his help. Ian thought about it and realized that it was quite difficult. Behind Lu Man's back is the Red Shield Special Forces. If he interfered, the situation would escalate, and it would definitely alarm his old man. At first glance, Bai Yunqi seemed courteous to him, but she must have decided to drag him into her squabbles. Su stopped him and said that before he could successfully complete the task, he needed to increase Lin Yuro's favor by 2 points. Then he would have 3 points of Heaven's Pride, and he would be able to promote to Viscount. Ian asks her, she offers an upgrade. Opening a couple items isn't worth losing the whole game. Su said that improving all the skills means the true chi of the 9 dragons and the 36 flying blood lotus daggers are pumped, and the chances of defeating Tian will increase. Ian raised his fist up and told Yuro that he was going to avenge her. Yuro told him not to, because this Tian is terrifying. Ian told her not to be afraid. After all, Tian almost killed her. If he doesn't avenge it, how can he then be called a man? Ian turned on the system and saw that her disposition had risen by 2 points. Yuro realized that Wu Dao cared for her so much, and she was very happy. The system said that Lin Yuro's disposition points had reached 95, and the task was completed successfully. He received 1 Heaven's Pride point and a talent for appraising antique items. The system congratulated the host on his promotion to Viscount. He will need 10 points of Heaven's Pride to move to the next rank. Ian turned just a monster, saying how dare they kill innocent people, and they unknowingly pulled the trigger themselves. Ian thought about it. They broke into someone else's store, killed the people there, and left with the loot. Is that what the protagonist's justice is? And Chin was right that Ian is really vindictive. Madame told Lu that it prevents her from hiring a lawyer or going to the nearest station, a violation of her rights. Lu told her to shut up. She's suspected of contract murder and smuggling national treasure. Let her wait till she takes a bullet in the forehead for it. Madame realized that it's over. Someone in her family must have framed her. They realized that there is no point in attributing simple offenses to her, so she was accused of selling antiques of national treasure and involved the Red Shield Special Service. But suddenly they stopped. Lu asked where the light came from because it was directed at them. When she got out of the car, she saw that they were surrounded. She said how grand it was. Ian told her that he didn't die. Lu asked why she should be upset. Ian asked her if she was pretending to be innocent after what happened. Lu said she didn't understand what he was talking about. Ian realized that she really wasn't putting on an act. So it was Tian's doing. The eyes of the ebony gold are terribly strong. Ian told her to stop talking nonsense and let her give him that MNLU said she didn't expect the guy to bring the armed forces with him. She said she wouldn't stop them, but she would report everything honestly. Ian said that he had laboriously harnessed the old man's strength. There was definitely no way to avoid total chaos now. Lu took out the handcuffs and said who he asked for. Madame told Wu Dao that it was incredible and she appreciated people like him. She will be indebted to him all her life. Ian asked where is Tian. Lu said that he is not part of the Red Shield Special Service. After completing the mission, Madame asked Wu Dao, did he really enter this conflict because he fell in love with her? Ian thought it was only Bai's feminine nature. Ian N plus head thought that she was dreaming. Qin Tian is not here. She can enjoy her love alone. Ian said that Tian is the one who brought trouble to Auntie Yun. He will not only save Auntie Yun, but also make him pay for it. Bai said that Wu Dao has really touched her. Only he cares for her so much. How can she be ungrateful? From now on, all of Bai's connections are Wu Dao's, and all of Bai's wealth is also Wu Dao's. Ian said to Aunt Yun, although they have different birth positions, they are almost the same age. He remembers in elementary school, where they went together, he was bullied and she was always protecting him. Now that he has grown up, he will protect her. Yun told Wu Dao that she felt like she was trapped in a dead end. She had already thought that her life was over. Ian realized that he had overdone it. She must have really given in to her feelings. Lu said that Bai's family situation is not as simple as it seems. She advises him to stay out of troubled waters. Ian said his business is none of her business. Let her tell Tian to wait for the day of reckoning. Yun told the guy that the girl was telling the truth, that things in Bai were really messy. She thanked Wu Dao and said that she would figure it out on her own. Ian thought from their past experience, she must be Qin Tian's heroine. Why such a favor to him? Could they be the kind of couple that love-hate changes every second? Chin Tian helps Yunchi to become the head of the family. In said he'd have to deal with it. Shrewdness will help him recognize truth and lies, good and evil, right and wrong at a glance. In told Yunchi that such a thing had happened to her. The others must have already set their sights on the position of the head. Does she think she will be left alone? After all, she can really cope if she is alone. In told her to follow him because he'd give her a ride. If he'd help her to the end. Yunchi realized that sincerity is learned in trouble. Now that she was at the bottom, only Wu Dao, whom she had never considered, had lent a helping hand. Moreover, he had not hesitated to use the family's power. How should she repay him? In took out his phone and texted the blogger to come quickly, and threw the geolocation to the Bai residence. The man told the elder madam that according to the family's rules, women are not allowed to enter the meeting hall. Only the men of the Bai family can be admitted. Yunchi said that yesterday she could enter as the head. But today she can't? The man said that he couldn't explain it. The second master only said that from now on, the women of the family would not be allowed in. Yunchi couldn't help herself and punched the guy in the face and told him to move away from the door. The second master asked Yunchi how she got back. Was he annoyed that she was able to return? The second master said that she had engaged in smuggling, thus breaking the family's rules. The second master called a family council to remove her as acting head. Now that he's the head, she's not in charge. How can a woman be the head? It simply undermines the family reputation. After all, smuggling is a Bai family taboo. Yunchi got angry and said that she didn't ask the old men. Where is grandpa even? The second gentleman said that the old man died yesterday because he was angry with her. Yunchi denied it and said she didn't believe it. She asked where her little brother was. He would never let her be treated like that. A guy came in and said that second uncle was telling the truth. Grandpa died because of her. She doesn't belong here. It was the Bai family's adopted son, named by Yulong. Yunchi was nervous and asked him why he was with them. But then she wiped away her tears and said she understood. Yunchi said her brother had betrayed her. Yulong laughed and said that he had realized it too late. Yunchi didn't expect to fall off the tower in a day. Yulong said he would avenge her for the humiliation he suffered when she publicly refused to marry him. She asked him if he wanted to break her. It's not that easy. She's always been good to them. She said if they still remembered her kindness, let them give her a helping hand. If she could get her family's position back, they'd get her favor. The guards said that Bai has always treated them well. They can't just stand by and watch her in trouble. Even though Bai Yulong is strong, they will still fight for the chapter. The guards gathered and attacked the guy, telling him to surrender. Yulong wasn't afraid and took them all down with one blow. Yulong warmed up and said it was Bai Yunchi's turn and attacked. But Een intervened and cut off his punch. Yulong realized that Een had repelled him with his inner strength, which meant that he had techniques too. The old men began to ask, how dare Junior Een in the 7 by Hall dare to spread his hands? Doesn't he understand what his participation means? The second lord said that their families have never meddled in each other's affairs. His interference in the Bai's internal affairs means a declaration of war. Een was calm and said that wasn't a bad suggestion, he said. The second master said that others might be afraid of his Een family, but not the Bai family. The second master ordered Yulong to attack, but facing the blows the guy felt such an inner strength. Is he really just a major? Een said that Yulong fends off his true chi of the 9 dragons after upgrading with just physical strength. He is not like a secondary character at all. Een said that he had already knocked Chin Tian off the main plot. The reprisal of the minor villain fell to him. He would condescend to deal with him instead of Tian. Een decided to attack and try out the improved 36 Blood Lotus flying daggers. Yulong was not afraid and said that his dragon fist was not afraid of any weapon. Even an army could attack. Yulong took a defensive stance while telling Ng that he understood that his insignificant knives were useless against him. The second lord watching the battle said that Yulong was a worthy master of Jiang City. There was no way he would lose. Een took out a knife and said that this dragon fist wasn't bad, and he should get it by any means necessary. Een let out a knife and hit right in the guy's heart. Yulong said that it was a surprise attack, considered a sneak attack. Een asked Su what are villain points and how to use them. Su said that villain points can be exchanged for 0.5 pride points per 100 reputation points. Een said that their villain is really a loser, always a head below Tian. Reputation points are meaningless at all, he will collect more by doing nothing on the broadcast. Yunchi thought and said that for the sake of not raising a fuss in the Bai family, did not hesitate to declare war on them. Is there any person in the world that can compare to him? The council told that he simply has no right to kill a member of the Bai family in front of them. And they have already reported to the police, so he can't escape. Told Lu that there are witnesses and physical evidence present, and they should be arrested immediately. Lu said that meant that the dead man had gotten rid of the guards and stolen the relics they had discovered, and it was all done on Bai's orders. Said that was right, and there were their fingerprints on the antiques. The second master said that he was framed. He didn't touch the relics. It was all by Yulong's doing. But suddenly he came to his senses and said that he had no idea what they were talking about. The theft of the relics had nothing to do with him. Asked him if he didn't admit to killing his father. The second gentleman said it was all slander and he would sue He's his father's honorable son, heaven knows. If there's any truth in what he says, let his father take him with him. No one was expecting, and his father's coffin opened. It was the head of the family, Bai Chowan. People were frightened and asked what it was. Bai told his son that he was a degenerate, poisoned his father, and when he saw that he was still alive, he smothered him with a pillow. How could he raise such a cruel son? The system said that scaring a villain to death gave him 2 villain points. He didn't know he could get points even that way. Lu asked Mr. Bai, did Bai Yaozong really assassinate him? Bai said it was a family disaster. Lu said that the relic theft case is closed. Was indeed falsely accused. She officially apologizes. Lu left and told her fighters to gather. Yunchi was angry and said she would file a complaint. Father said that from this day onwards, he would hand over the authority of the head of the family to Bai Yunchi. No one should have any objections. Father told Yunchi that from now on, she should maintain a good relationship between Bai and let her not forget today's kindness, and have them change his nameplate and picture to his second son's name and picture, so everything will fall into place. Consider it the last time he expresses decency as his father. Yunchi asked Wu Dao, shouldn't Grandpa be dead? Then how did he come back to life? Does he also have the ability to resurrect? Said that in his family, a resurrection pill that can revive the dead has been passed down from generation to generation. Yunchi thought about his words and realized that he had used such a valuable pill for her sake. Knew that although he was miserable with reputation points, he had gotten 2 points of sky pride and a dragon fist, it was still worth it. But as for the reputation, it should have grown tremendously. But there was a glitch in the system. The results are still being uploaded. Yunchi told Wu Dao that she has one treasure. Would he like to come to her room to appraise it? Opened the system and saw that he had 2.7 million reputation points, so he went into profit. Told Yunchi that he would go with her. Yunchi took his hand and told him to follow her. Told Aunt Yun that this was her private quarters, a bit of an inappropriate place. Does he dare have the courage to enter? Yunchi said he was shy after all. She thought he was a man. But it's not what it seems. Said there's no doubt about it. So let him see how valuable her treasure is. Early the next day, told Yunchi that he didn't expect it to be the first time for a femme fatale like her. Yunchi told him not to worry. She didn't force him to be responsible. It was on her initiative. Yunchi said that there would be an auction of magic stones today. A batch of quality uncut stones had arrived from Leilongcheng. Would accompany her? Said that now that he had a talent for judgment and discernment, he was going to put them to the test. Told her okay. But he would bring a couple more people. Arriving at the auction, Yunchi said that in previous years, the mining of stones was suspended due to the war. This is the first auction after the end of the war, and this year they brought a lot of good specimens. Euro said that the first-class royal stone is the most worthy of attention this year, and all the big tycoons in the country and abroad have gathered here for it. Euro said that here it is, a first-class royal stone, the price of which is 500 million. Said that this is Qin Tian stone. It doesn't even take any effort to find it. There's a reason why he's the main character, he even got the royal stone. Lin Feng told the boss that he found Qin Tian at the entrance. Due to the lack of invitation, he was stopped by the guards. Thought that following the development of such a plot, someone should soon give him a VIP invitation so that everyone would bow down to him at the entrance. It was better to let things go and follow the plot. Told the guy to order the manager to give him a VIP pass the way he'd come in. Tian said at the entrance that the guards only judge by status. The royal stone in this place is his, so why is he not allowed in? The guards apologized to the gentleman, but it's a rule to enter without an invitation. Tian said it's bullshit, but suddenly a man came in and told the guards to immediately disperse. He asked them if they knew who they were trying to stop. It was Mr. Chin. It was the auction manager. The manager told Mr. Chin that here's his pass. The guy took the pass and hit the guards with it. Tian asked them what rules they were talking about. And with this piece of paper, will they continue to be rude? Will the watchdogs continue to keep him out? The guards said they apologized, they didn't recognize him. Tian felt a sense of power. It had been a long time since he had been worshipped like this. It felt so good. Tian said that he would first find all the high-quality rough stones. Then he would sell the royal stone and use the proceeds to buy valuable stones. After a while, this 500 million will multiply several times, making it his first big profit in this Jiang city. Tian said that the rough gold eyes consumed too much energy, so he would write everything down so that he wouldn't use them again. Number 23 with purple glow, 28 with wind element, 41 with wood element. 49 high quality with ice element. Yin told Lin Feng to capture everything that Tian records, no matter the value of these stones. Yunqi asked Wu Dao, wouldn't it be too risky? Although Tian has an evaluation technique, couldn't he make a mistake or misunderstand? Yin said that he believed in his ability. He couldn't be wrong. After all, he is the main character with the eye technique. Even if he sees something wrongly, he can't be wrong in such a case. Yunqi told Wu Dao that he should help her. Because of the conflict, the markets hadn't worked these years, and their minds were depleted, so the Bai family's jewelry stores hadn't put out anything decent for a long time. This time, she went to the auction in hopes of finding something worthwhile. If she returns without success, will she be able to get the firm recognized? Not to mention the relatives. Yin told her without thinking for a long time that if she bought this stone, everyone would be impressed by her choice. Yin said he wouldn't redeem the stone, but would let her do it instead. Yunqi said that the starting price is 500 million. She is afraid that the price will soar beyond 1 billion. If in reality it is not a king stone but a pacifier, it will be a complete failure. Yin didn't persuade her for a long time and told her to believe him. After all, Tian couldn't put up the stone at a loss, and said that she would buy back this royal stone no matter what. Yunqi said that Wu Dao is his first man, and she believes him, and let him believe in her insight. If it's a failure of her insight. The man started bidding and said that the first royal stone with 500 million. People immediately all started bidding more and more. Yin said that the competition for the royal stone is fierce, assuming that 800 million won't be enough. The guy said right. He heard that there are 4 great families bidding, so the battle for the stone is inevitable. The host said that this time, the Yin family representative is Yin Wu Dao, the newly appointed head of the Jiang family, and by Yunqi, the heiress of the Bai family, and Ji Wuji, the eldest young master of the Jiang family. Tian heard these words and said that the 4 great clans were nothing. Sooner or later, he would trample them down personally. The guy said, just dare people to raise the bid higher. Today this royal stone will belong to him and the Jiang family. He bid 700 million. Yunqi told Jiang Renjie to get lost, because what he liked, no one can take away. Tian was surprised to see Yin Wu Dao, because he thought he was dead. Madame Xue's dagger should definitely have poisoned him. Lin Feng said, this is unthinkable, this Tian still dared to show up, he will kill him now. Yin said, what is their hurry, after all the game has just begun. Looking at him with an evil look, Yin said to Qin Tian that they would play with him leisurely. Yunqi raised the bids to 750 million, but the guy standing next to him bid up to 800 million. The guy told Yunqi that he understood that the Bai family needed the royal stone, but his grandfather had left him a bequest. This guy was Ji Wuji. Yunqi said that she was afraid that this time his grandfather's will would not come true, so she raised the stakes to 850 million. Ji said that in that case, the strongest would win, so he raised it to 900 million. Tian thought and said that they are doing the right thing. Let the dogs bite each other, letting their hair down, there will still be a profit for them. Yin whispered to Yunqi to raise to 1 billion. The girl immediately raised her hand and offered 1 billion. Yunqi thought, before they came here, the experts had calculated that the biggest stone was not worth more than 800 million. She really listened to Yin and raised the bet to 1 billion. She must be crazy. Looking at the other players, Yunqi was hopeful that they all raised the stakes some more. Yin watched them closely, and the guy said that lately, something has been making him unwell, he won't lift. Yin told Wuji that mutual friends said that he was very interested in his wine bowl. Why not give it to him at a fair price? Wuji thanked him. The anchor said he congratulates the head of Bai for winning the $1 billion Kingstone. The blogger said that after the purchase of a stone there is the cutting of the stone, or rather its cut. This is the most important part of gambling. As they say, one cut can make you poor, one can enrich, and one can pierce the cloth. If you make a cut once, the price of the stone will drop by half. If you make 3 cuts and still do not see the glow, the stone is considered empty. Yunchi said that in order to choose the part of the stone to be cut, she needs her own technique, which she learned from her grandfather for more than 8 years. Yunchi drew a line with a marker and told the worker to make a vertical cut along the line. Yunchi didn't give up hope. It was only 1 incision, and there was still a chance to continue. The blogger watched it and said that again the green light did not appear, a waste of money. Completely white inside the stone is called a stone of chicken droppings. This means that the stone is not fully formed. Now the chances that there is something valuable inside is rapidly falling. Yunchi cut another piece, said that everything is over and lost. This royal specimen will turn out to be a piece of chicken droppings. Yunchi told the worker to keep cutting the stone. She doesn't believe there's nothing inside. The guy walked over and told Mrs. Bai, if she kept cutting and there was nothing inside, the king's stone would be useless. Yunchi asked him, then what should she do? The guy said he would buy the remaining stone for 200 million. There was no trace of an emerald in this stone at all. It was as if she had been framed. Now there was nothing to do but try to stop the loss in time. He's offering to buy back the stone he sold for 200 million for $1 billion. He loses nothing, 800 million in net profit, all precisely calculated. But unfortunately, today he met with him. The blogger said she thinks the stone should be sold for 200 million. So at least some of the money will be saved. But the boss is not quite a normal person, and she is waiting for further developments. Who said that sold stones can't be redeemed? She sells, he redeems, everyone agrees. What business is it of Een to interfere? Een told him that big. Bai Yunchi is his woman, her stuff is my stuff. He doesn't agree to sell him this stone. What will Tian do next? Tian felt a strange feeling. Why did he feel ashamed? As if he had been given horns. Tian got angry and said he'd pay 500 million. That way he'd minimize their losses. Yunchi said it's sold, but Een said not to sell and refused. Yunchi told Wu Dao, he's deliberately trying to set her up. She has to go bankrupt so he can have fun? Een told her that with 500 million, he could give her $1 billion. After all, $1 billion is as insignificant to her as the light of a firefly to the moon. Een hugged her tightly and said that to look at her sadness was to hurt his heart. Yunchi said that she had examined everything in detail. There was no trace of emerald at all. There was almost no chance of the imperial green color appearing. Een said she was wrong. The color will definitely appear. Yunchi asked him. Een looked at Tian and said that it was because of him. Tian's existence was blessed by the heavens. In his hands miracles can be performed. He is willing to buy back the stone for 500 million. The stone definitely can't be nothing. Even if there is an emerald inside, how do they know where it is? How is Een going to cut the stone to keep the gemstone intact? Een said that regarding this, he should thank her. Een used the power of his talent of discernment and told the worker to cut along the crack on the left side. People said that Een knows how to show off. This is just a show-off. Now he's going to embarrass himself in front of everyone. Tian wondered how come Een had chosen the same place as him. This was only possible with eyes of ebony gold. Who was Een Wudao after all? Cutting along the crack of the stone, a green light began to appear. Yunchi was very happy to see it. People said that Een Wudao had become so damn rich. Such a large piece of imperial stone hadn't been seen in the past 100 years. Tian said that this was not an imperial emerald. Yunchi saw this and said that the glow of this emerald was thousands of times rarer than an ordinary imperial stone. Rumor has it that at night the entire royal palace is illuminated with green light by lanterns made of chilo stone. If a butler's lantern is carved out of such a fragile chilo stone, it will become one of the rarest treasures. The leftovers can be processed to inlay jewelry. Basically anything that is made of it will amaze the world. The starting price of this already priceless treasure will start at tens of billions. She said she really doesn't know anything. If it wasn't for Een, the treasure would have slipped right out from under her nose. Tian said that who really is the loser here is him. He knew there was an emerald inside, but he didn't expect it to be a chilo stone. If he had known before, he wouldn't have sold it under the threat of being shot. Tian wondered why he felt as if he was destined to live his entire life in Wudao's shadow. Yunqi asked Wudao if she could take back the rest of the Qilo stone. She will be grateful to him all her life. Yin asked her how she would thank him. Yunqi turned her head away and said that she would obey him. Yin raised his hand and told Yunqi that the entire Qilo emerald is hers. The girl asked him, "Is he giving it away completely?" Yin said she understood correctly. He would give up his country for such a beautiful girl. As long as she's happy, he'll be her prince. Yin couldn't help but kiss her. People were saying that this was a public announcement of Yin and Bai's family union. Tian thought about why his heart ached so much. He definitely had nothing to do with Bai. But why did he feel as if he had been cheated on? The blogger said that the stones Yin chose were high-quality emeralds, with a total value of over $1 billion. No one knew that Yuro saw that beautiful kiss. When she saw that, she cried and called Yin a bastard. She left in tears and said she didn't want anything to do with him anymore with such a bastard. Yin thought, is she offended? Yunqi told Wudao, why doesn't he follow his girlfriend? Yin said that even though he likes this singer, if he follows her now, she can turn it against him in the future. Once he gets under her heel, he'll end up with nothing. Lin Feng asked boss, maybe now is the time to kill Tian. Yin said that according to the cliched plot, the main character can't be killed halfway through. If the villain does it, he'll lose anyway, so it's a stupid suggestion. Yin said that Lin didn't need to do anything this time. He would take care of him himself. Lin couldn't understand anything, but it sounded cool. In the car, the guy was saying that Yin Wudao has changed a lot. He doesn't even know what to expect or not to expect from him. The girl told her brother that he was too worried. Most people around him are not outstanding. It's rare to meet people with great power like him. Guy told Shuri, if Bai and Yin unite, would it affect their plans? Shuri said that Grandpa could nail him to the wall for not getting the royal stone at this point. That's the maximum influence they could have. The guy said he thought they should rethink their plan. But suddenly someone attacked Shuri from behind and told her not to move. The boy asked Qin Tian what he was doing. Tian said that he had no bad intentions. He just needed to borrow their car to escape from the enemy. Let them take him out of Jiang City, it was no big deal. Shura said to Tian, if he is hiding from Yin Wudao, he can put away the knife. Tian asked, is she his enemy too? Shura said that she is not the enemy, but Yin is just a nuisance. Tian put the knife away and said that he apologizes. Lin asked the guy, why don't they stop this car? The guy said it's young Master G's car. They don't dare to stop it. So don't let Lin make it difficult for them. Tian told the two of them thanks for their help. When he returns, he will definitely repay their kindness, that he will remember their favor. Shura gave him a bottle and said that the weather was hot. He could drink. Tian thanked the young mistress. Shuri told Tian that she believes in him and will wait for his return. He will definitely come back and pay for everything. Tian realized even though he was handsome and the girls he met were suitable, he must not let his guard down. He must consider their intentions. The guy said if Schwer wasn't taken hostage, he wouldn't want to cross Yin Wudao's path because of that bastard. Tian thought that this beauty is so kind that he can't read her mind. That means her heart is as pure as a sheet of white paper. But suddenly Tian took a sip and fell to the ground. The boy asked the girl what she had done. Schwer said that Tian had acted exactly as Yin Wudao had said. Schwer said that it was fortunate that she had used the pupil-concealing lenses that Yin Wudao had prepared. Otherwise, it could have ended badly. The guy asked her when she had time to conspire with Yin Wudao behind his back. He's not a good person. She should stay away from him. But then Yin showed up and told Ji Jr. not to continue. He didn't want to hear how much Ji didn't love him. And Schwer did everything for him. Schwer said that she did everything he asked. So Yin do what he promised her earlier. Ji asked Su to tell what she agreed with Yin Wudao. No need to languish. The girl said it was a secret deal. Yin told Tian that he would make sure that he died in agony. That was the only way to appease his anger towards him. Lin said that at the boss's request, he fed Tian the mushrooms from this basket. No more could fit in it. Yin said that it was very good. Yin said that these variegated mushrooms were carefully processed and had a strong hallucinogenic effect. He had heard that eating them could even make you see dancing men. Qin Tian likes it so much when people worship him, so let him try it out for himself. Lin thought and realized that Yin Wudao was cruel and ruthless. Even the methods of reprisal were so elaborate that it was terrifying. Qin Tian is a bastard who even attacks women. So he deserves to die like that. Tian opened his eyes and didn't realize where he was. He had such a headache and was dizzy. Looking at the mirror, he wondered who it was. And why does it look like him? Tian wondered. Tian asked himself, how dare he tell him, after all, he would kill him. And used an eye attack, but the reflection made him feel his head start to split. Tian didn't realize where he had gotten to, but looking around he saw only himself. And out of anger, he activated his eyes of ebony gold and killed himself. Ian watched this and said that apparently Tian was finished. He didn't expect it to take this long. After all, he was quite serious about it. The system told him he'd gotten the powers of the Eye of Ebony Gold. So he decided to look at his powers. Tian looked at him and said, Daddy, he missed you. Ian didn't understand what had happened and assumed that Tian had degenerated. Lin said that he realized it was all because Tian under the hallucination used his special eyes. The attack reflected into him and he became an idiot. Lin said that the boss is very smart. Ian thought he was really dumb or just pretending. Tian called Lin father and said he wanted to play with the gun and shoot a little. Tian grabbed the gun and started to run away. Lin got angry and told him to bring back the gun. Ian told Tian that he could fly from over there. He could fly high in the sky. Standing on the edge of the house, he stopped. Ian asked him why he didn't take off. Let him jump down and take off. Tian turned around and said that Ian understood everything. Tian pointed the gun at Ian and said that he really underestimated him. Ian told him that he should thank his eyes of ebony gold. Mind reading works perfectly. Tian said that he didn't understand what kind of ebony gold eyes we were talking about. Ian is about to die anyway. Lin threw himself in front of the bullets to protect Wudao. But Tian pulled the trigger and the bullets weren't there. Ian told Lin that his loyalty was confirmed. Ian said that from now on, Lin was not just his bodyguard, but his blood brother forever. Lin said that brothers are brothers, but the salary should be paid to the bodyguard. Ian said that from this month he will receive 100 times salary. Tian asked them why the gun was not loaded. Ian said that a person wouldn't step on the same rake twice unless he was short-sighted. Ian said that he had already suffered from his ebony gold eyes in Yunqi's store, so even before Lin Feng arrived, he secretly discharged his gun. But the reckoning is his success is his failure. That day he intended to kill him. Now he will repay Tian 100-fold. The system notified that for completing the task perfectly, the Viscount would receive an additional reward of 2 pills of Tiger's Agility and Dragon's Ferocity. Tiger Agility and Dragon Ferocity pills are made of the essence of aged dragon and tiger blood, steel bones and skin. Gives great strength and has high efficiency. Ian gave 1 pill to Lin to eat. Lin asked him what kind of candy smells like that. Ian said only steel candy. Lin said that he could get sick, it was too much. Lin tore off his clothes and said that he felt an incredible power and wanted to try it out. Ian said that it was unfortunate to be a bachelor, not even a place to release energy, what a waste. Let Lin remember to take the billion from Tian, it would be a waste to give it to a dead man. Ian went to the Bai girl. Yunqi came out and asked Wudao what urgent business he was looking for her for. She was busy with the Royal Stone business right now. Ian couldn't help himself and dragged her into the car. Yunqi told him what he was doing in broad daylight. Ian told her that she said she would thank him well. Yunqi said, but on the side of the road, it's too indecent. Yunqi said to Wudao, why should he drink this medicine at his age? He wants to cheer her up to death. Ian said she was wrong, he wants to cheer her up to death. Yunqi told him that he is really not human. In the future, let him not take these pills, after all, her legs are shaking. The journalist from the bushes said that from the very beginning of the trade he expected something like this to happen. Not for nothing he was squatting here all this time. 2 heirs to great families have a date in the car, it will be the biggest news of the year. The girl grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and told him to delete the photo. In return, she'd give him 100 grand. The reporter said she's Ian Wudao's girlfriend. If she wants him to delete the photo, Ian Wudao doesn't care about her at all. So why not let this Mr. love her well? The girl couldn't help herself and kicked him in the groin. Taking the camera, she removed the card and kept it. She said if he dared to sneak pictures of Wudao, she would find the right people to bury him alive. The journalist told her he was wrong and would not do it again. The girl said she couldn't stop him from going out and drinking, but he had to come home. He didn't come home last night. When she arrived at the villa on the coast, she noticed that Wudao's car was here. So he must have stopped for lunch. Wudao likes patient girls. She can't show her displeasure. She needs to stay calm. When she opened the door, she was surprised to see the girl and Ian at the table. She asked them if they were having lunch. Ian asked her if she had already returned, and said that the food had already gotten cold. Let Chinya reheat it for them. Chinya sat next to her and said that she would eat the cold one too. Seeing this, Ian told Xiong to sit on his lap and feed him. Su told the boss that she trades in entertainment, but not her body. Let him stay in line. Ian said, "How can you be so ungrateful? Has she already forgotten the fire incident?" Su silently sat on his lap. Ian said he would feed her, but Su resisted and said she wouldn't eat. Ian told Chinya that she would move into the guest bedroom today, and she would give her previous bedroom to Xiao Xiao, so she would be closer to him and he could watch her work. Su said that the guest bedroom is also good. She doesn't need another, and Chinya's sister shouldn't move out either. Chinya couldn't help herself and slapped the table, saying what Ian was after all trying to accomplish. She never wanted to run away with him and never wanted to betray Ian. She had always sincerely served him. So why is he doing this to her? Ian asked her why she was angry or going against him. Chinya said, didn't he want to give her a massage, so let him do it. Ian has said enough. She doesn't want to work here. Let her go back to Central Hospital. When she realizes her mistake, let her go back. Chinya looked at him with puppy eyes and couldn't hold back her tears and cried loudly and left. The blogger asked Ian why he chased her away, because he obviously didn't want to do that. Ian said he doesn't even know, but he's very angry, and he's angry that she defended Luofeng, no matter what their relationship is. Ian said he knows it's not her fault, but he still can't stop being mad at her. Shui said that she knows the reason. Ian loves her and is really in love with her. That's why he's so angry with her. Ian said it doesn't matter. He's been with thousands of beauties. No one has touched him. Su Qingya is just a contracted servant. How can he have real feelings for her? At most he said he liked her. Like other pretty girls, good food, treasures, but nothing more. Su told him that in love, serving him by force is only a temporary pleasure. Then she can't be held back. But the bossy lord doesn't care about that. Ian woke up and looked for Chinya to woo him, but he didn't remember chasing her away. Lin went over to him and asked him why he was here. Lin said that the boss sent the girl to the hospital for a while. If he can't go without her, he'll go and get her back. Ian asked if Chinya was ready to admit her mistake. Lin said that she had become the chief physician of the central hospital and was now running the hospital smoothly, even saying that she had fallen in love with the young doctor. Ian freaked out when he heard that. Lin said he was joking, he's so nervous, and still says he doesn't care about her. She is in truth close to her senior colleague, and it is worth noting that she will definitely move up in her career. Ian thought about it and said he thought he should go to the hospital. He arrived at the Jiang Central Hospital. Yuro asked her brother why he only came now. The doctor who will operate on their mom has already arrived and is waiting for his signature. He just met Wu Dao on the road. Ian smiled and told the girl that it had been a long time since they had seen each other. Yuro turned away and didn't say anything. Lin told her that it was wrong to behave like this. Wu Dao invited Han, the best neurosurgeon in the country. Yuro told Wu Dao that she sees that she and her brother have gotten closer, but he's still not a good person. When Ian entered the room, he asked the doctor how his aunt was. The doctor said the situation was not optimistic. The tumor is located right in the middle of the nerve plexus, the slightest carelessness and you can damage the nerve, even he can't be sure. But suddenly Qingya came in and said that she had informed her senior colleague Yang Feng. His acupuncture technique is excellent. Maybe they can carry out the treatment with Chinese traditional medicine. Ian told her that it didn't matter whether it was Western medicine or traditional medicine. Only a good specialist could cure the disease. Ian didn't expect her to look so seductive in her uniform. If he had known earlier, he would have played doctor at home. Dr. Han said, what traditional medicine? Do they suggest hot water as a cure? The human body's immune system is responsible for recovery, and all traditional medicine is quackery. Qingya told the doctor that the central hospital combines Western and traditional medicine. The effectiveness of traditional medicine is undeniable, so Dr. Han must not have understood it enough. Han said that if it wasn't for Junior Ian, he wouldn't have come to this shoddy hospital. Ian asked the doctor, doesn't he drink hot water to normalize qi on the hottest days? Qingya realized that she had said too much, and Ian became angry. Han said that Ian was right. He was hasty in his remarks. Traditional medicine has many good techniques, but the techniques are inherited from the past, and everything is limited to the old practices, so it has little effect now. The guy said that's not true. Traditional medicine, though inherited, is still developing its techniques. He said that traditional medicine had fallen into disrepair not because it was outdated, but because of the human attitude towards it. Qingya said that the senior colleague is completely right. The heart and mind are equally important. Before the operation, it is worth trying the heart. This is the importance of medical ethics. Yang Fan said to Yin that they hadn't seen each other for many years, and she was getting prettier and prettier. Qingya smiled and said, "What's the matter? The senior colleague is also beautiful." Yin said that in such a case, they are thinking very narrowly. As they all know, it is possible to get rich if every worker is educated. If you open a large number of traditional medicine institutes, make exchanges among them, put aside ancestral views and share new opinions, it will be possible to learn the whole theory of meridians and acupuncture points, and in 10 years, skillful healers will be in demand everywhere in China. Qingya thought that Yin is still as perceptive. She fully supports him. But she shouldn't continue to be aloof. Yang asked him, "Who is he? Are these outrageous words?" Dr. Han said that Yang is insolent. In front of him is the senior lord of the Yin family. Yuro was angry when she saw her mother's condition and told them not to argue, because her mother's condition was getting worse and it was time to do something about it. Dr. Han said that even though he wasn't sure, he could try it for Junior Master Yin's sake, but they had to sign an agreement for the operation first. Yin understood that in such situations, general physicians should act decisively. This physician Yang was clearly a proud son of heaven. Yin said it was too late to send her to surgery. Let him expand their horizons. Yin saw his actions and said that this was the lost technique of the 13 needles of the demonic gate. Han said it's a strange superstition. Some flying needles can cure a person. Yin saw that making fun of the head doctor, who was also a genius doctor, when he showed his wit, was the same as putting his face in a fight. But suddenly Auntie scooted over and asked how long she'd been asleep. Had she already missed lunch? Han was surprised. "This can't be happening," he asked. Yang asked him, "What's the big deal about a simple illness?" The system told Ing that it had discovered the new proud son of heaven. He thought to ruin the reputation, even though it's a bit immoral, but he knows how to pull it off. Yuro asked Dean where he was taking her mom. Ing said, even though she's awake, they still don't know if she has a brain tumor or not. He'll take her to CT scan to confirm. Do quietly and don't worry. He will wait for her outside. Auntie thanked him for everything. Ing said that all he had to do was buy a look-alike doll, and he got one through the system. Ing told her to close her eyes and not to be nervous. She's just a doll, not a real person. The way she doesn't breathe for a while, let her pretend to be dead. Ing ran in and said that Auntie had suddenly passed away. Qingya said that everything was fine just now. What went wrong? Ing told her to ask about this senior colleague of his. He was the auntie's attending physician. Han said that he had said that Yang was a charlatan. Of course his words were truer than this doctor's. Qingya asked her senior colleague, could his 13 needles of the demonic gate have hit the wrong place? Yang said that it was just a faint, ordinary anabiosis. He would use a simple technique and she would come back to life. Yang didn't understand because his method didn't work. Did she really die? His 13 needles were applied correctly, removed the blood stasis and restored Yang. Lin couldn't help himself and took him by the shirt and told the doctor he really did kill his mother and punched him in the face. Yang told the younger colleague that she should believe him. It's definitely not his fault. Pointing his finger at the guy, he said that Een was the last person to contact the patient. It was definitely his doing. Qingya told him to shut his mouth. She overestimated him a lot. She felt sorry for Auntie Lin. Let Yang await the punishment for such a huge medical negligence. Yuro knelt down and told Brother Wudao that she was wrong. Let him not be angry with her. She would never show her temper again. Let only him save her mother. For the sake of their brotherhood, please let him help their mother. He knows he has the resurrection medicine. Lin told them to stand up. Whether they asked for help or not, he would do his best anyway. Moreover, they both asked him. Een said, however, Yuro should keep her promise. Yuro said that from now on, he will not be jealous. How in the world can there be a medicine that resurrects people? Even defying nature, the elixir of small sunset sunrise elixir can only slightly extend the energy of life. Een said that in his hands is a family heirloom elixir of the greater return of the sun at sunset. Unfortunately, he can't let them observe his actions. Let them wait here, he will be back soon. Could there really be an elixir of the great return of the sun at sunset in this world, capable of bringing the dead back to life? Heading down the corridor, Ian told the doppelganger doll to go back to his home in the system. When he got to the pallet, Ian apologized and said he had to go to the bathroom. Auntie said it was fine. She had just finished, so there was no reason to worry. Auntie said that Wu Dao is a very good guy. If Yuru can find a son-in-law like him, she can die happy. Ian said that they were back. Yang couldn't believe his eyes when he saw it, because it was happening in real life. Ian pushed Yang and told him to get out. He has no place in the central hospital anymore. If he tries to come here, Lin will break his legs. Yang left saying that he would see how life would put everything in its place. Today, Ian ignored him, and tomorrow he would deprive him of the opportunity to climb high. There was an accident in front of Ian. He said, how could you hit someone and just drive off like that? They were going to kill someone. When he saw the girl in the car, he said she was dying, needed immediate treatment right here and now. Ian did not hesitate and used the power of the 13 needles of the demonic gate. The girl woke up and asked the guy. This girl was the president of, and her name was Hong Yi. She thanked him and said she would thank him back. Arriving at the villa on the coast, Qinya was packing her things. Ian told her to pour him a glass of water. Qinya told him to let Shun pour him a drink. Today is the last day of their contractual relationship, and it expires in 10 minutes. Qinya said that she will never return to this house again. Let him take care of himself. From now on, she will not wish him good morning. Ian pulled her against him and told her if she was trying to piss him off or get his attention. Qinya said that Ian is infantile and unselfish. Ian got angry and pushed her and told her to look at him. Even though she's getting cocky, he's willing to forgive her if she admits she's wrong. Qinya pushed him and said why should she admit she was wrong, and where was she wrong? She never betrayed him. Ian said how dare she disobey, since no one had dared to yell at him since childhood. He told her to get out, since he never wants to see her again. Qinya told him okay, and she's leaving. Moreover, she won't take a step outside this house. She thought, why is he so cruel to her? Ian wondered why she suddenly listened to him. Hadn't she done the exact opposite before? Ian made up his mind and told her not to leave. She turned around and hugged him, saying that she couldn't leave him. She didn't know how to live without him. She said that she was waiting for Wu Dao to call out to her, so she wouldn't leave. After this day, their contract would expire, so she had no reason to stay here. Ian put his hand on her face and said that he didn't want her to leave. He wanted her to be with him for life. They couldn't resist and kissed. Qinya told him he's crazy. This is the living room. Better go upstairs. Ian said if he wants it here and now, he'll get it here and now. No one dares to hold him back. Qinya told him not to hurry. Let her take off her white robe. Ian told her not to take it off. Let her leave it like that. Qinya told him he's so bad, but she likes it. After all, she fell into his clutches. He's just a spoiled, handsome womanizer. Ian said, what kind of womanizer? You can't just tarnish someone else's honor like that. His heart has always belonged to her. Qinya told him that the paparazzi filmed him and by Yunxi in the car, and she intercepted the video. Ian said he recognizes it, and yet it turns out they were deliberately filmed. Why all this, he thought. He remembered how the girl said that in Lan City, she has a sister-in-law, the marriage contract with her before they were born. He heard she is incomparable. Ian said he's never seen her. He hopes this scandal will make her call off the engagement. He owes Qinya a favor. Qinya asked him if he was going to publicize the contents of this map. Ian said that now that she had obtained the map, she could dispense with it and send her the video directly. The system told Ian that the task of winning Qinya's heart was completed, rewarding him with 2 points of heavenly pride and a talent for modern medicine. Is this the essence of modern medical knowledge? If he defeats Yang, he will gain the talent of ancient medicine. Then will he become the world's best doctor? Wasn't the reward for Qingyu 1 point of heaven's pride? Why did it increase? The system told him, because Qingyi has hidden heaven's pride points. Ian asked why they were hidden. Why didn't he even know about them? The system told Ian Wu Dao that he should understand that the people he was dealing with were not simple. They were all heaven's favorites. Each had their own halo, and the system might not recognize everyone. Ian said that Lin Feng had become his subordinate, and Luo Feng and Qin Tian's body had long since cooled down. If there is any variable, it is the Dragon King Xiao Chun. The girl told Xiao in custody that there was someone who wanted to see him. She heard that Xiao was ready to redeem himself. He can help them fix the problems overseas. But there is one condition: they must release him. Lu agreed and said that she could promise him, but he mustn't cause trouble for Yin Wudao, who had denounced him, or he would come back here again. In the residence of the Shangguan family, a girl ran to the older young mistress to say something. She said that she had just received a video in the mail from Jiang City with his fiancé. The girl was an assistant and her name was Milan. Mi said that she had heard that Yin Wudao was a womanizer. But to be so blatant in broad daylight, why shouldn't the young lady take advantage of this provocation and break off the engagement? The eldest daughter of the Shangguan family, named Shangguan Jialo, she asked why she should break the engagement. Mi said because he's going left and right. Why not just deal with the bastard quickly? Jialo told her to shut up. She thinks marriage is a joke? Their engagement was arranged before they were born. She is destined to become a member of the Yin family. This guy is her destiny. How can she change what she is destined to do? She took the clipboard and said that from tomorrow she would only wear vintage outfits when she visited her. Mi realized that it seemed that the severe illness of 3 years ago had really impaired their young lady's mental capacity. It was said that when she woke up, she suddenly began to speak traditional Chinese. Watching the video that was mailed, she said that in this life Yin Wudao's body is beautiful. She said that she had already killed Yin Wudao in the previous 9 lives and would kill him in this one. His soul would finally disappear forever, and she would no longer need to follow him through the torment from one life to the next. The system told Yin not to think that now that everything was going great, no one would be able to touch him. If those lucky sons of heaven made their move now, there was a good chance that he wouldn't even be able to use the help. Su said that even though the bugs in the system made it easy for Yin to earn reputation points through streaming, these big sun return pills were not a cure-all. So he should raise his level as quickly as possible, thus strengthening his skills. Only by gaining Heaven's pride points can he resist the proud sons of Heaven. Heaven really can't do anything against him. After all, he's still young. Qingya shouted for Wudao to get up the next morning. She said that Mr. Ji was seriously ill, so she called all the famous doctors of their city. She has to go too, so she won't be able to accompany him. Yin asked, "Is Mr. Ji seriously ill?" Qingya said yes, she had heard that it was some kind of strange disease. Yin asked if her senior colleague Yang Fong was coming too. Qingya asked him if he was jealous. Before Yang came to the central hospital, he had done well several times, which attracted the attention of the Ji family, so they had specially called him, so it was likely that he would come too. Yin hugged her and said that he would go with her then. Maybe he could help them in some way. Qingya said okay, but let him stop because they have to hurry. Ji told the doctors if any of them could cure his father's unknown ailment, he would reward that person. The doctor said that all of Mr. Ji's vitals are within the normal range. Logically, everything should be fine. He really doesn't understand what's wrong. Qingya opened the doors and said that she wanted to give it a try. The doctor said that they could easily handle young master Yin Wudao. How did Yin Wudao get here? Every time he appears somewhere, the situation gets out of control. Yin asked the younger Jia what his father's illness was, and why wasn't he aware of it. Jia said that recently he had a sudden headache and felt like he was dying of pain. Yin smiled and said that, as they say, headaches are the work of ghosts. He asked him if there were any exorcists who could exorcise his father's headache. When they left the room, they heard Jia's father shouting that his head was splitting from the pain. Qingya said it was bad. The patient was in pain. When they opened the door, they saw Yang. Jia told him to stop and leave his father. Yang said that the wind of evil had already penetrated his brain, so he had to take it out with silver needles. Otherwise, he would definitely die. The doctor told young Mr. Ji that he should not trust Yang. Yesterday, he witnessed how he was responsible for the death of a man because of his medical negligence. Why the hell would a charlatan come into Ji's house and act so brazenly? Have the guards get him out of here. Jan got angry and said that they can't tell good from bad. Let people leave him alone, he'll go away. They better not pull the silver needle out of his father's forehead or they will suffer the consequences. Yang told Qingya that he doesn't care if she believes him or not, but he will tell her something. Yin Wudao is not a good person. She should stay away from him to avoid being involved in his affairs. Qingya told him that he didn't have to worry about it. Yen told them, let them laugh wryly, thinking he was wild. Ian will see when they beg him for help, because only he can cope with this difficult-to-cure disease. The doctor told them that the guy is a head case, do not pay attention. Jia's father shouted that he was in great pain and was going to die. His head was splitting into pieces. Qinya took the syringe and told her to rather help hold him down to inject him with a sedative. Jia's father pushed the girl away, and she flew into Yin's arms. He told her to leave everything to him. Putting his hand on the man's head, he said that it was better for Yang Fong to calm down himself. Otherwise, he would take care of this woeful counselor himself. Yin thought about it and said that Yang's trick was clumsy but effective. It seems that traditional medicine doctors use this trick in every other novel. He used a silver needle to seal the acupuncture points for the patient's temporary peace of mind. If someone were to remove the needle, the disease would return immediately. After that, family members will have nothing left but to bow down to him for help. No wonder why he is so sure he will still be begged. Jia asked, what should they do now that it seems only Yang can help his father? Should he ask him to come back? Yin told him to wait, because there was something fishy going on. He asked how long had Yang arrived in Jiang? Qinya said it was about 7 to 8 days ago. Yin asked the guy how long ago his father started getting sick. Jiang thoughtfully said about 5 to 6 days ago. Jia said really? Yin confirmed and said that's right. It's exactly what they thought. Qinya asked what did they think. Yin said that it is a combination of auxiliary core needle, maddening, which contains 99 medicines. It used to be used by charlatans in pursuit of profit. They first use an auxiliary needle to make the victim feel unbearable pain, and then use the main needle to help them. After pulling this trick, the victim will be willing to pay any money and still be grateful. Yin asked the guys, had they heard of this combination of auxiliary main needle driving mad? Jia said they hadn't heard and didn't know. Yin knew that of course they didn't hear it, for he made it up in the moment. Yin told them that this case shows the importance of anti-fraud apps. May they not forget to download it. Jia told Wu Dao that he had said many things, but had not told him the way to cure his father. His father would not walk around with a needle in his forehead forever, would he? Yin said that he was not a doctor, of course this is where his authority ends. He knows who can cure him. Jia asked who could cure his father. Yin said the head of Su Qingya Central Hospital. Yin told Qingya that this is a great chance to prove herself. She just needs to relax and he will help her. Qingya told the aides to give him ibuprofen for the pain. She will now devise a treatment plan. Yin approached the man and used force, telling Qingya to leave the rest to him. Yang said that the sick man had the wind of foulness in his head. He must be right. Relying on the very proud sons of heaven is another powerful weapon for victory. Then he should use the true qi of the 9 dragons to purify the profanity. After that, the patient should feel better. Yin didn't expect it to be so easy for him. But still, what is the cause of Mr. G's illness? Su said that the cause of the disease has been recognized, all due to the recent spatial temporal turbulence. The disruptions in the magnetic field caused an imbalance in the forces of good and evil energy, and the patient picked up evil energy. Yin asked, what does all this mean? Su said that simply put, someone nearby has been reincarnated. Yin said, isn't that the main character's cheat? Looks like there's a new job. Yin told Qinya that she could pull out the needle. After pulling out the needle, he started screaming in pain again. Jia's father said that it's fine. It's nothing. He feels completely healthy now. He's not in any pain at all. He's just used to yelling over the past few days. Yin told Ji's youngest son that Yang, who had planned to destroy his family through the death of his father's pain, had gotten away with it. Is he planning to leave this charlatan alone? Ji said that Yang dared to act against their Ji family. If they don't deal with him, won't people mock him? What kind of future in Jiang City will his Ji family have after all this? Ji told everyone to gather and listen to the order. Have them break off all of Yang's limbs and throw him out of this city. Yin asked Qinya if there was something wrong with her. Qinya said that it was just so unexpected that a senior colleague who had always sincerely loved traditional Chinese medicine had suddenly become such a self-serving lowlife. Yin said that the modern world is ruled by money. Everyone is chasing profit. For a few pennies there will always be people who are ready to ignore morality and throw away humanity. Ji said that he would never let that bastard who threw away medical ethics live a good life. He'll let the whole country know about this bastard's crimes. So the Chinese medicine community will get rid of this bastard. Ji said he's going to ruin his life. Ji's men caught up with him and told him to stand still and not to run away. But Yang was not afraid and stood there waiting for them. Ian says he's walking so slowly. waiting for them to find him for help. And that's what they've really come for. He can't wait for them to get down on their knees and beg for forgiveness. The men did not talk to him and started beating him. The men said that the young gentleman had given them orders to break his limbs. But at the moment of impact, who entered the conversation and told them to scram? The girl said she was watching that someone dared to go against his man. The girl told Hongye that she was a powerful person. So why confront the Ji family? Hongye said that she thought who was the instigator. But it was Ji's sister-in-law, Shui. Since when can she be in charge of the Ji family? The master came over and said that she could always lead the Ji family. Hongye said that the two of them then could not let Yang go at her personal request. Yang told Hongye not to ask. He wanted to cure their father from the bottom of his heart. But they didn't thank him, and even more, they decided to take revenge for his kindness. Jia said he's a scoundrel. Not only does he have no medical ethics, but he can't repent. He struck with a bat, but Hongye couldn't let that happen. So she fought him off. And in return, she put a sword to his neck. Jia thought that after reincarnation, he would be able to avoid the destruction of the Ji family. But apparently it's impossible. Shui's identity attracted Hongye, and she ended up exterminating everyone. In this life, he tried his best to hide Shui's identity, but everything followed the same scenario. She was surprised that he had knocked out the sword with a leaf. What kind of inner strength would that be? Only a master with innate talent would be able to do that. It was Yin. He started laughing and said that she was close. Hongye said, "How dare he interfere in the affairs of the Qinglong faction?" The guy said he was Yin Wudao himself. Hongye said she didn't know him. They didn't drink together. Yang said he was the one who ruined his reputation. That auntie must have faked her death. With his skills, he couldn't have killed a person. If he had been more vigilant, his tricks wouldn't have worked. It's common knowledge that Yang killed a man in the process. He's already doomed to a reputation as a quack. No matter how much he yells now, he can't change the established fact that he's incompetent. Yang said Yin is a liar. Yang told them to let him grant them the power of his 13 demonic gate needles. Yin analyzed it through the system, and taking out a knife he sheathed all of his needles that he had released. Yang was surprised. Yin could fend off his needle technique so easily. After all, who was he? Since he was able to fend it off, let's see what he would do with the second strongest hidden weapon. Yang gained strength and used the pear-petal needle storm during the blossoms. The pear-petal needle storm during the blossoms got its name because the 27 silver needles look like pear petals when shot. How will he fight back this time? Yin looked at him with an evil look and said, Yang doesn't think he can dodge his attack? But suddenly Yin disappeared. Everyone didn't understand where he had gone. Yin managed to attack him from behind and asked Yang, was he looking for him? Yang asked him, how did he end up here? Looking at the system, Yin thought, didn't he have 2.7 million reputation points left last time? How come he had more now than before he spent it? The blogger filmed the whole thing and said that she herself did not understand how Yin did it. Anyway, the boss just happened to be behind his back. Could he have come running so quickly? Hongye told Yin that if he wanted to touch Yang, he'd have to go through her first to get to him. Yin knew that the system hadn't yet said that the mission was completed, which meant that Yang still had some reputation left. That it wasn't time to kill him yet. Yin laughed and said that the young mistress was apparently ready to rip and throw. Hongye launched a long-range and powerful attack. Yin repelled her attack and said that he was close and dangerous. He told her that he was willing to fight him in close combat for 300 rounds. But then don't let her scream that she couldn't stand it. Hongye said close combat. Yin wants to get close to her body? It's not that easy. Hongye abruptly changed her hands. But Yin saw it and said that it was some kind of great skill for her. Yin said that it was his turn and attacked her with 36 flying blood lotus daggers. Hongye realized that Yin was a born master, but he still lacked the fuse. Yin snuck up from behind and asked her who lacked the fuse. Yin said that he had just used this technique to subdue Yang. Didn't she learn her lesson? Hongye said that she lost and he can do what he wants with her. Yin noticed in the system he said that good disposition, obedience is better than respect, and kissed her. Hongye said Yin is crazy. He could have killed her without shame. Why did he kiss her? Yin said that like the girl said, he does whatever he wants. Hongye said he's a jerk and a liar. A fighter can be killed but not humiliated. She asked why Yin kissed her. Yin said that's such a delicious, sweet kiss. Next time they see each other, He will kiss him again. Chinya said it started again. From her experience, she can't get rid of him. It seems she has another sister. Hongye told him that she didn't let him kiss her. Why did he do that to her? Hani said she could turn a blind eye, but Yang saved her life. She should take him with her, otherwise they'll have to fight to the death. Ian didn't hesitate long and said he'd do it. Ian said he didn't expect that he's a brilliant doctor to rely on a woman to save himself. Yang threw a wire on Miss Jia's hand and said that the young autumn breeze is not bearable. This must be the one that Sister Hong was grinning at. Possessing a great Ian, Yang asked Hong if she was the one she was supposed to find. Hong said she didn't expect the cause of all the misfortune to be right in front of her eyes. She almost missed it. Hong said that the curse on the existence of the rest of us in the next life without being reborn in the family, and applied the curse. Jia humbled herself and told Wu Dao as they had agreed. He said that he would bow to her insight, Ms. Yi. On the day of the stone auction, Yi Shui approached him with an offer to help her expose Qin Tian, on the condition that he would one day save the Ji family. There was no hint that Ji would be in trouble earlier, which is clearly against common sense. Unless she or Ji Wuji are the ones reincarnated to disrupt the passage of time. Hong said it's none of Yin's business if she kills her or not. Or he hasn't kissed her yet. Yin said it's not a bad offer. He'll consider it. Hong said that she should kill her today, so Yin should let her do it. Yin said that he already let Yang go. But she's still so bossy, so she's just as brazen. Yin said she didn't dare humiliate him like that. Hong didn't torture herself and told the Qinglong group to listen to her. Hong told them to help kill Yin. Jia said that the Qilong group is made up of outstanding fighters. They can't stop them. Qinya asked him, he doesn't mean that Wu Dao will be 1 against 100. Shui told Wu Dao that he only asked to save the Ji family. Not her, he can step aside. If she is destined to die today, then let it happen. Doesn't she believe in him? He hasn't tried yet, so why does she think he'll lose? Shui asked him why he was going all out for her. He's the richest master in Jiang City. Yin said the reason is simple. Killing a beautiful girl like her would be a waste, and he treasures good things. But suddenly the leader came and told them to stop. The people said that the head of the underground had arrived in person. All the people were frightened and stood up in formation, saying that they welcomed the head of the Chinese underground. Along with the underground leader, 2 other guys arrived. The blonde guy's name was Bai Hu and the other was Shen Wu. Underground head Long asked Zhuke what she was doing. Hong said named father. She said that there was a brazen bastard named Yin Wudao. He is strong, and it seems that he has a lot of support behind him. It's good that father came to help deal with him. Head Lon said that they've gone wild. Hong asked if she was wrong about her father. Hong said she's on a family mission. Father promised not to interfere. Lon said, right, that he promised not to interfere, but he wouldn't let her kill his grandson. Yin went to his grandfather and said that he missed him so much. Why hadn't he come to see him for so long? Lon said he's been suffering from old illnesses lately, and his legs have gotten weak. If it weren't for that, he'd visit his granddaughter every day. Hong was surprised that Yin was Lon's grandson. Yang said that the underground leader Lon was Yin's grandfather. He is indeed a great patron. Jia said to Yang, if he originally knew who his grandfather and great-grandfather were, he would have realized that he had patrons higher than heaven itself. Hong kneeled down and said that it was really a misunderstanding. She had no idea that he was his grandson. Lon said that the state has its own law, so every house has its own law. Even though she is a descendant of the Yi family of Lon City, she swore allegiance to his sect. How dare she do something to his grandson? Lon threw the knife in front of her and said she knew their law. He didn't need to be reminded of it. Hong said she knows 3 knives and 6 holes, expulsion from the Galao society. She said Zhuke is taking the punishment. But suddenly Yin grabbed the knife and told Grandpa that he misunderstood. Hong told him, is he crazy? Yin told Grandpa that he and Hong Yi were just joking. He got too excited. Lon said that Wu Dao hurt himself. Let him come to Grandpa for a quick look. Yin said that it's just a scratch. It's not a problem. Lon asked his grandson, he says it was just a joke? He thinks he's fooling him? She was obviously trying to kill him. Lon saw his grandson's palm and realized that he was good, with this bleeding showing no pain. This is the blood of the Yin family. Yin said it's definitely a joke. They were just kissing when she suddenly decided to kill him? Isn't that right, Hong Yi? The girl said it's true. Lon said he doesn't believe it. Let them kiss so he can see. Ian said to Sister Hong, she doesn't want to fulfill the 3 knives and 6 holes. But in front of Grandpa's eyes, Ian saw that the arrangement had been growing for a long time. So why hadn't the assignment appeared yet? Lon said it's good for young people to get close. He told Hong that as long as it's like this, he won't bother them. He told Hong that as far as the Ji family is concerned, she should discuss with Wu Dao and find a compromise. After all, if he's on the side of the Ji family, she won't have a chance to win. Hong told her father that she understood. Ian told her not to despair. Let her submit their issue with Shui to him. He promises that his settlement will satisfy both of them. Hong said if it wasn't for her father's name, she would have chopped him up and fed him to the dogs. Ian said she's hot, he likes her. Shui said that they were safe now, but had Jia seen a scene like this in his past life? Jia said it had never happened. He had heard that the Ian family in the past life was drastically different from this life. Why this time? Ian had long been killed by Shao Chun, and the Dragon King Palace had started a full-scale war with the Ian family. In the next few days, Yin's mother was attacked and killed in an overseas inspection. Then Lon was caught with a plan to avenge his daughter and grandson. And later, in order not to involve the Ian family, he committed suicide. But Shao Cheng did not leave the Ian family alone. He used the dirt on LRN to make a fuss, and it really deeply shook the Ian family. Shortly thereafter, Yin's father announced his retirement due to illness, from which he soon died, and the rest of the family was imprisoned. Thanks to all this, Shao Chun became famous, and the name of the Dragon King was heard throughout China. Jia said that she had inherited the Qinglong faction after Lan Wuzhong's death. With her help, Yang's position grew rapidly, and soon he knew the top of Jian, and in turn she relied on him to control Qinglong. Jiang said that he didn't expect how quickly the Qinglong group would rise up, that eventually, their Ji family would be destroyed. Shui asked her brother that he thinks Hong might have betrayed Lan. Jia said that he probably did, but he doesn't know whether to tell Yin Wu Dao about it. Shui told her brother to be sure to tell her. After all, Wu Dao is now trapped because of them. Yin asked that Jia meant that Shao Chen destroyed his family. Yin, and Hong is probably an accomplice. Also, his mom is going to have an incident in the next few days, so it's better to discourage her from traveling abroad. Yin asked them how they knew this. Shui said that she could calculate the future with a technique that included the 6 traits of the hexagram, the 4 pillars, the book of changes, and the 8 trigrams. If they wish to cooperate honestly, just let them say which of the 2 of them reincarnated. Otherwise, he doesn't want to hear this nonsense anymore. Shui asked, how did he guess? Yin said that it must not be Yi Shui. She was always smart. If it was her who reincarnated, the Ji family wouldn't be so driven. Ji Wuji asked Yin Wu Dao. Ji said that's right, he went back 10 years. In October of this year, the Qinglong group was taken over by Hong after his grandfather committed suicide. Later on New Year's Eve, Hong drenched Ji's house in blood and killed Yi Shui. As luck would have it, he and his second brother Wuzi Fengming managed to escape, after which they went through countless hardships wandering around the world. After 10 years, his second brother had achieved a lot and returned to Jiang to declare war on Qinglong, the head of which was already Yang Fan. Then the Ji family was reborn. But he was exhausted early because of all the hardships of the past 10 years. Later, under the guise of treatment, Yang somehow touched his hands and feet, and after a week, he died from the unbearable pain. But when he woke up again, he went back 10 years to the present day. Jia said that he realizes that everything sounds like a fairy tale. He probably won't believe him, but these 10 years have been like a long nightmare. So even he himself doesn't know if it's true or his delusions. Ian wondered why his reward had sagged so much, as you said that it wasn't because of her malfunction, but because of his low title. If he were an earl now, he would have completed the mission and obtained skills not retrospectively, but a great prophecy. Ian thought, apparently he needs to speed up the process of raising the title. Su said that she wasn't more concerned about the skill but the 5 points of heavenly pride. Ji is obviously an ordinary proud son of heaven, and his storyline is simple. Nothing more than reincarnation, revenge, and domination in the business world. But she doesn't understand why the system gives out a whole 5 points. Either there's a hidden plot here or he's under someone's patronage. Ian told Mrs. Su not to worry. The answer will be revealed when he completes the task. Su told him not to touch her, She's still angry. Yin said that even though Yang may look like a young man with pure thoughts, but in reality, he is ruthless and unscrupulous. Jia asked him why he was talking when Yin didn't believe him. Yin said he believes him. Jia said that Yin had correctly understood that Yang had been using his medical skills for 10 years to expand his connections, and he had used his needle technique to destroy all the undesirables. He had obtained the nickname of Demon Doctor, which could be said to be quite famous. Yin is a womanizer by nature. He was always surrounded by crowds of beautiful women with whom he slept. He can only envy. Jia said that at Yin's funeral, Su Qingya touched his coffin and killed herself. She didn't live to see Yang's ascension. Qingya came in and said that Wu Dao's mother had called to ask what he wanted for dinner. She suggested she cook his favorite beef tongue and duck chin, so maybe he wanted something else. Yin couldn't resist and hugged her. Qingya asked him what was wrong. Yin said that he would definitely treat her well. Qingya asked him why so suddenly. His actions make everyone around him feel embarrassed. Yin told her that in this life, he can offend anyone, but he will never dare to offend her. He will give her anything she wants. If she wants a star from the sky, he will gather all the stars in the world for her. Qingya blushed and said that she wanted to be with him forever. And hugging her, they kissed in front of everyone's eyes. Jia said that Wu Dao is really overdoing it, knowing that this attachment scene is seen by a couple of singles. Xue said that she doesn't think he's intentional. He's just being honest. Jia told Xue that in the past life he couldn't protect her, but in this one he will surely. Xue told her cousin that the crisis in their lives had not gone away yet. Jia said that they should deal with the crisis first. Ever since Xue entered Yin's deal, she had stopped showing warmth towards him. Could it be that he would lose Xue in some other way in this life? Then why did the heavens need to rebirth him? Yin told them that he will help them deal with Hong Yi, but he wants Ji's family to obey him. Ji must kneel before him and swear allegiance. Jia said that he and he are both heirs of big families and are equal. Even if they cooperate, they are partners. What authority does he have to force him to bow down? Yin said that since Jia can't judge reality, he'll help you. But suddenly Mrs. Bai came in and asked if she was here at a bad time. Yin hugged her and said that she had come just in time. Yin said that the Bai family and Jiang family had already submitted. If Jia doesn't obey his orders, the three major families will point their guns at him. Bai said that this way he would be destroyed without Hong's involvement. Yin told him not to take it as a threat. That's just the way it is among the powerful. After the three main families are united, does he think that even if Yin wants to leave the Ji family alone, the other families will agree? The boy said that his Jiang family disagreed. Bai asked if he would be able to sleep serenely in the future. Zhu kneeled down and said that he swore loyalty to Yin Wudo and promised to never betray. Yin looked into the system and said that you can look into someone else's past. It's more or less a fun toy. Yin told him not to get upset. Since he swore allegiance to him, his family matters are Yin's problem. And Ji Wuji's cousin, his cousin. He told her that Hong was very good at martial arts, so if she stayed at Ji's house, she would not only endanger herself, but also the Ji family, so let her go to his house. She was able to observe his ability today. Only he can protect her. Moreover, she is such a wise woman. After consulting with her, he will definitely gain even more strength. Xue grew up with him in the Ji family. She is his love since childhood. Xue turned away and said okay. Yin told Jia that he would take care of Hong and cover Ji's family. In the future, he would only be needed to predict the future and be his prophet. Jia asked if he had a choice. Yin said to the faithful prophet, first let him tell him the correct lottery ticket numbers so that he can win the grand prize. Jia said, how can he remember such a thing? Doesn't he like horse racing? He memorizes horse numbers, right? What about that black horse? Jia told him not to tell him. Jia said that the day after he was reborn, he bought a horse that was supposed to win and placed a big bet on it. They drugged his newly bought horse and it died of diarrhea on the field. The guys said it was horrible.